Xbox has had a pretty unceremonious 2022 with delays, not a big showing of games, and many people looking to 2023 to be when they finally land as a next-gen presence, and as well as just land the plane of all of their deals, their acquisitions. There's a lot of people looking to that year. So what I wanted to do is say this is what they need to do. Many people are looking to 2023 as sort of a do-or-die situation for Xbox. That's why my thumbnail says that. So I believe it's 5. I have 5 things that I think they really need to do in 2023 in order to sort of climb out of the spot that they've got themselves in and really consider themselves in a more, not necessarily dominant position, but a more respectable position. And I will call out those gifted memberships on YouTube in just a moment. Thank you, Dark Taco. So number 1, I think this is the most important thing. And I put all the information right here at the beginning of the broadcast, so you don't have to go looking for it. This is a live stream. So number 1, they need to launch the big titles in a timely and polished way. Like, I don't think anybody is denying that. You really can't get away from this anymore. It's very clear that Xbox is not really having a strong gaming presence. They don't have a lot of titles. We're just not seeing them. A lot of them got delayed, and my personal theory is that they really looked at 2022 and thought, let's not really have any of these games launch by themselves or isolated. Let's really have a strong showing and a strong presence in 2023. I think that's one of the reasons why there is an apparent planned showcase at the beginning of 2023 that's going to be sort of saying, hey, here's everything coming, here's what's going on. So they need to be solid and ready for launch, though. I don't think they could afford to have a bad launch of Redfall, of Starfield, of Forza Motorsport. I am the most confident about Forza Motorsport. I think that game will probably be very good. Those games tend to be very popular. But I think the other thing to consider in this is a lot of eyes are focused on Starfield, right? A lot of eyes on Starfield, a lot of focus on that game and in its performance. We cannot have another Halo Infinite. We cannot have any more delays. 2023 is the year to prove that developers can deliver under Microsoft ownership. So that's number 1. Number 2, I think they need to shift focus to Series X distribution. I have a lot of thoughts on the Series S and why I think this is going to be a problem long-term for the platform going forward. I don't think it's going to be good for them in this generation of console. If they want to do a mid-gen update like an Xbox Series X Pro or something to that effect, they're going to need, I think, to ramp down Series S and ramp up Series X distribution. I am worried about that console being a problem for Microsoft, being a problem for third-party developer relationships. People are going to be looking at that and saying, I don't necessarily know if I want to optimize my game way down to run on that weaker system. The fans of Xbox continue to talk about this like it's not a big deal and like it's not going to be a problem. I think you're just sort of looking the other way. I think they need to get a solid footing with the Series X as well as the Series X Pro, and that could pull in more third-party relationships. Let devs also consider launching only on the Series X. I think you need to let people do that. You need to let people say, listen, I'm only going to launch on the Series X. We don't want to necessarily launch anywhere else. I think that's a needed thing. So that's my number 2, is to shift focus to the Series X. Number 3, I think they need to cement the future of Game Pass, right? Recent comments make it seem like Game Pass is sort of less than we thought it was, only making up 15% of the gaming division's annual revenue. There's plenty, I think, of evidence to say Game Pass is potentially shifting in its tone. I actually think they should move away from the constant day and date language and move towards game trials for Ultimate. I think they need to use Game Pass to foster a purchasing culture. I think long-term, they're fostering a culture of non-purchase, of people thinking, hey, I'm subscribed, I should get literally everything that hits this platform. I don't think that's good for Xbox's future. They really need to cement the identity in the future of Game Pass, because currently, I don't think the way that it's set up is very, very good for them long-term. We know they're potentially going to be launching the low-tier ad version. They need to have that price raise. We know it's coming. Game Pass will have a price increase. Xbox Game Pass will have a price increase, likely end of 2023, probably fourth quarter. I think they need to tie it to some kind of value. I think one of the values they could tie to that price increase would be game trials, which would allow them to do two things: increase the price on their current user base of Game Pass, as well as continue to foster a culture of purchase, because when you try a game, you're more likely to buy the game. I actually think they could learn from Sony here. We are going to have another stream about what I think Sony needs to do in 2023. They're not getting off the hook. I think they need to make some significant changes as well. Number 4, and this is a big one, but I think they need the Activision deal to go through, right? I'm against the deal because I'm against consolidation at this level. Cell phone companies have gone through tons of consolidation. Internet service providers have gone through tons of consolidation, and it's been generally very bad for the consumer. And so I don't think this level of consolidation is good, but I actually think Microsoft needs the deal to go through. Their gaming division needs those properties. They need the Activision Blizzard purchase to be successful. If not, they need to get out as unscathed as possible. They need to get out of there. They can't stay in this limbo. I think getting out seems like a massive blow to them long term, but I do think in terms of the gaming division success, they need this deal to go through. I think that's one of the reasons they put so much capital up for the purchase of Activision Blizzard. Lastly, I think they need to establish the cloud and the Game Pass in more places, like we're seeing with Samsung TVs. That's a huge win for them. They need to be doing that in 2023. The Samsung relationship, I think, is a great start. The more Xbox can establish itself as an ecosystem that is large and well-run, the less the Series S will become a problem. I actually think that's kind of their future. And that's one of the ways I think the Series S is going to get out of its performance problems, is they're going to have to really cement xCloud as a potential solution for the way that is run. So third-party companies might think differently about a large footprint that's not tied to hardware saturation. Many people will look at Microsoft and the Xbox Series X and S and say, you don't have great market saturation. Why would we land on your ecosystem or your platform? Well, xCloud and Game Pass being virtually everywhere, if it's in TVs, if it's in mobile devices, if they're able to do that, then Microsoft's footprint will grow astronomically. It will be very, very large, almost seemingly overnight. So that needs to be another piece of their strategy, I think, going forward in 2023, so they can approach third-party developers and say, listen, we're not bound by hardware saturation anymore. You don't need to look at our total console sales. You need to look at our user base, the number of people that are logging in to cloud, the number of people that are using cloud. I think that is a massive, massive win for Xbox long term. So we know there's an Xbox showcase at the start of 2023 sometimes. We're going to make sure and cover that. I actually think they have exciting things coming in 2023. So that's my show open. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody on YouTube. We are streaming on the talk. If you're over there, man, smash that screen, smash like. I'd love to know what you think about this. What does Xbox need to do in 2023? This is a gaming talk show. If you've never been here before, smash the like button, hit subscribe. Dark Taco got us started with 5 gifted members: V. Moore, Kelvin, Carl, Crislow, and Chase. Those memberships will get you guys into members-only content, and if we hit 25 members on the day, I will gift 5. So if you're over here on YouTube and you want to get a membership, oh wait, that's not right. Wow, we already blasted past it. 6 out of 25. We've got 6 gifted members, or 6 members already today. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, make sure if you're on YouTube, give us those first 100 likes. We only need 13 more. I'm curious, out of all the things that you want to see from Xbox in 2023, what is the most important? Right? What's the most important thing that they do to cement themselves in 2023? That's the question I have for chat to get the conversation started this morning. When you're looking at next year and you're looking at Xbox in 2023, what's the number one thing you think that they absolutely must do? They gotta nail it. The latency on talk is unbelievable. It's like immediate. It's crazy to me, the way that it runs over there. It's so smooth. No flops, first-party titles, Starfield needs to be a hit, games. So TJ Rage is saying games. We need games. We got Dark Taco saying, man, Starfield needs to be a hit. TJ Rage isn't just saying games. He's saying no flops. You can't have any flops. Omega is saying first-party titles. I agree. I agree. It can't just be games. I saw an article, and it said Xbox Game Pass games, 44 of them or whatever, already slated for 2023. And I was like, is that the headline you want for your platform? We're just adding more games to Game Pass? What about the first-party titles? What about the mainstay titles that we've been promised? Where are those? No more waiting, says Scotty B. Games, put up or shut up, says 3 Mile Island. How do I say it nicely, says SDO. AAA games that are SIE level of quality. Spider-Man 2 level, right? Sony Interactive Entertainment quality, right? We got 100 people over here. Says, good morning, you're beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. If you guys like my shirt, you like all these DC characters, they look great over here on the smaller screen. I don't want to get banned or anything. I'm not like touching myself. This shirt is available from the DC collection over at 80stees.com. So make sure and use code Lono if you like the shirt I'm wearing. Honestly, they shouldn't raise prices without any new games. Yeah, we already covered that. We already covered the price range, the price increase, I should say. The Xbox price increase, I do think, is a concern, right? Because of the optics. I'm not against the price increase. I'm not. Game prices have to go up. They haven't even budged in 20 years. But I think the optics on it's just hurting Microsoft. Because all these people are waiting, right? And then you finally are going to have some games come out, and they're going to be, what, more expensive? Are they going to be any better? I think that's going to be a challenge for them optically. Babbling Bike with a 5-month membership on YouTube. Thanks for the great content. I say Xbox needs to get their first-party games sorted out. I agree with you. I actually do. Give me some Xbox bangers on the level of God of War, Ragnarok, Spider-Man, and Horizon. So the general consensus and theme from chat seems to be we need games. You need games on the Xbox in order for Xbox in 2023 to get cemented. Now, I have other things listed that I'm going to get your guys' thoughts on in a moment, but we're just going to start the show by discussing games. So do you think Starfield, Redfall, and Forza Motorsport, is that a strong enough first-party showing for Xbox? Is that enough? Do we need some surprise bangers? Or are those 3 titles, is that in your mind? No, that's a strong year, right? 3, that's good enough. People are saying no. Derek says prediction. 2023 will be another the wait is over for the box. While gamers sit around twiddling their thumbs, the wait lasts until 2024 bet. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I'm really excited to see over 100 viewers over on the talk. We spiked up until almost the 300s. Make sure you're smashing like. Make sure you're saying good morning. Make sure you're sharing it with other people that might enjoy a gaming talk show. Personally, I need them to be transparent about when I can expect to be playing Fable and Perfect Dark. They announced them 2 years ago and then went silent. MJ says 4 more. No, they need so Madara is saying they need strong third-party exclusives. Stalker 2 is getting a trailer today. Yeah, the Stalker 2 gameplay, we will likely either do some form of reaction to that tomorrow, or, we'll do some form of talk show about it. We'll watch it or something to that effect. We also, tomorrow, we're going to be doing a what am I looking forward to in 2023. Today is all about what does Xbox need to do in 2023, and second show, what does PlayStation need to do in 2023. But right now, we're focusing on Microsoft. Yo, good morning, Wolfie. H. Brownie. It's good to see names like H. Brownie and Wolfie in chat I love seeing people without a badge. That means we've got folks that could get gifted memberships, man. I love seeing that. These guys are here all the time. What else do we got in chat? 2 of those should have been this year. No. Yeah, Sichuan. See, no, I like that. I like what Sichuan is saying. Think about this with me for a second, right? Think about this with me for just a second. 2 of the big titles coming next year were supposed to be last year, right? Let's imagine we're in 2023. So my phrasing makes a little bit more sense. Let's imagine we're in 2023. Let's imagine it's February. 2 of the games on the horizon, Redfall and Starfield, were supposed to be in 2022. So what about the rest of the games? What about the rest of the year? Right? Shouldn't you have a surplus at this point? Shouldn't you have more than just 3 games? Yo, what's good, Feed? How are you? I'm loving the what they need to do topics. Xbox and the industry in general need to keep their projects under wraps until they're ready. P.S. Dark roast plus French press equals... Oh, is it good? Is it good? Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Oh, I don't have... I just thought about this. I can't call out coffee orders because I have... Oh, wait, I might be able to do it down here. Let me see. If you guys order coffee, let us know. My phone is being used for live streaming over there on the talk. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to see coffee orders on my iPad. I'll check and see. Show us the games. Show us the games. Right. That, like, if you're basically getting a couple of games, yeah, I don't think I have my email, my Reforge Media email set up on my iPad, so I won't be able to see if anybody orders coffee. If somebody orders coffees, let us know so we can shout you out in chat. Make sure you guys are going through your morning ritual. Smash like, get on live chat, order some coffee, give some members. We already at 6 members out of the 25 member goal. Good to see a bunch of people over there watching. If you like gaming talk shows, very interactive, you can watch on YouTube or you can watch right here where you are. Just tap that screen like crazy if you're enjoying the show. Forgot about Indiana Jones. I'm late. What did I miss? So if you're just tuning in, Xbox in 2023, I outlined 5 things that they need to do. Okay? 5 things. Number 1, launch games. Launch some games, right? We need game launches. I also said focus more heavily on Series X. You've got to get Series X in greater saturation than the Series S. Set yourself up for a mid-gen upgrade with the Series X Pro. I talked about cementing Game Pass. What's its identity going forward? They seem to have said a lot of things about it. Doesn't seem to be like this big central thing that it was anymore. I think they need to try to foster a purchasing ecosystem, a culture of purchase with Game Pass. I think they need to move into game trials, right? Thank you, Train. Thank you, Train, for saying that over there. If you like Lono's shirt, go to 80s Tees and use code Lono for 30% off. That's very kind. I said they need the Activision deal to go through. I don't want it to go through. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's bad for the market, but Xbox needs it to go through. And then lastly, I think they need xCloud and Game Pass to be in more places. They've secured this relationship with Samsung TVs. David Harrison, good morning. Good to see you. Just off the top of my head, says Sven, in no particular order, I need these to get confident in Xbox again. So he needs these things to come out for him to be confident in Xbox again. Avowed, Fable, Starfield, Redfall, Hellblade 2, Perfect Dark, probably missing some. Yeah, I don't think I disagree with your list. I don't think you're going to get that list next year. I don't think you're getting Fable and Hellblade 2 next year. No way. Absolutely not. There's absolutely no way. Did Microsoft announce Avowed when it was on pre-production or what? It's been how long? I have no idea. Unless Microsoft has a big surprise they're holding back from the news cycle like Connect 3. Connect 3. I think we're in for another middling year. I don't expect a ton of console exclusive games, says Solemn. Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, Hellblade 2, and the Warhammer games are enough for me if they aren't this year. Games releasing isn't enough, says Eugene. The games have to be good. Now, I said that in my show open. I said, listen, you got to have games release, but they can't flop. You cannot have any more Halo Infinite. You simply can't. These things have got to be ready. They've got to be primo. They've got to be polished, right? It's not Connect 3, it's Connect Series Y. Bob respawns with a joke over here on the talk. Guys, we need likes over here. What are you doing? Smash that little screen. Make your finger go crazy. We need the same thing on YouTube. Let's have a competition. Who can get the most, right? With platform against platform. That's a pretty good joke. from Bob Respawns over there. Xbox needs to stop talking about buying publishers, less over-promising and more over-delivering. Dark Taco says 343 has never been able to execute, let alone make a polished game. I recently switched to PC. I'm loving it. Xbox can croak now. That is harsh. That is harsh. I was watching a Doc Dark video, right? Doc Dark 1985, I think is the full title. Doc Dark 1985. There's levels to this. I like him. I like his energy. We're going to try and have him on a show at some point. And he was kind of talking about what he wants to see in 2023 from Xbox. He thinks it's going to be a really big year. He's pretty excited. He's a pro Xbox guy. I like him, but the Xbox guys are looking. They're looking to 2023 to cement the Xbox. I have a video today. It's more of a reaction video. It'll go live on YouTube this afternoon, Reforge Gaming, and it's going to be me looking at 21 years of the console war from Data is Beautiful. It's a really cool video, and boy, oh boy, Xbox doesn't look too good throughout pretty much the entire video. Throughout the entire video, it doesn't look that hot. Microsoft are really scared of being amplified for crunch. Amplified? What is it? What are you trying to say there, Doom? They're not putting pressure on their studios, and they haven't hired enough devs. What are your thoughts on this game? Don't know if you play it. No, we don't play that game. DualSense controller is all gimmicks. I mean, it might be gimmicks to somebody who hasn't used one. That's not really the subject, so I don't want to get sidetracked. We're trying to talk about Xbox in 2023. I actually think the DualSense controller is one of the best controllers I've ever used. The active feedback and the triggers, the haptic feedback, the speaker, I don't know. That controller is amazing. It's been highly praised and reviewed by most tech outlets that have used it. Xbox doesn't offer anything apart from Game Pass. If you're not into subscriptions like that, then Xbox is not for you. Yeah, here's the thing. Is that a potential challenge for Xbox going forward? If, Starfield Day and Date is PC and Xbox, right? And they're also really promoting Day and Date Game Pass, okay? In that environment, are you not then dealing with, why have an Xbox? And that's why I stressed, one of my points in today's show open in my monologue was, they need to focus on xCloud and Game Pass in more places. You need to start. I think 2023 needs to be one of the years, probably the first year they really push forward the idea that this is an ecosystem that's everywhere. They've already got this deal with Samsung televisions, right? You're going to be able to just play Game Pass right on your TV. As long, plug your TV into the Ethernet or get it on Wi-Fi, Bluetooth your controller, and you're in. You can just play games right then and there, like that. I think that helps their relationships with third party. I think that helps their relationship with consumers in general to just think about them differently. It doesn't need to be about the box anymore. Elite Series 2 is my favorite, even over DualSense. If they bring haptic vibration and trigger tricks to a new Xbox Elite controller in the future, then any of Sony's controller may as well not even exist to me. Yeah, I used to be really, really big on the Xbox controller for the form factor. I actually still like the joystick placement better on an Xbox controller. I don't know if you've ever actually compared or looked at these side by side, but your joysticks are side by side on a PlayStation controller, and my cable is stuck here. Oh, I strung it up for my wife to use it the last time we streamed together. See how they're not in the same spot. And I don't know why, but pulling my finger down for the D-pad has always been easier than pulling my finger up for the D-pad. Babbling Bike says, I can echo that. I think Xbox will eventually just be a software division for Microsoft that specializes in games. It says, encourage your viewers to share your live and invite more friends. Yeah, we almost have 1,000 likes over here. Keep smashing the screen and hit the little share button. I don't understand streaming on this platform at all. I think they spin you up on a runner and try to let you capture people. And we are down to 10 viewers. Wow. Okay. Well, very different over here. Very different than YouTube. YouTube is we're crushing it this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you've never been here before, this is what we do. We do a variety gaming talk show, highly interactive, safe for work. A lot of people throw me on in the background of their day like a radio show. Hit subscribe. That's totally free to do. Hit subscribe, and then that way you can get into the talk show chat. You can talk in the chat once you're subscribed. Smash the like button as well. The more often you're here, too, you might get a gifted member. We already had 5 gifted members this morning from my man Dark Taco. I get extensive use out of the back paddles and trigger stops, which I believe you don't use as much, so I can see why you would steer closer to DualSense, but I also like the Xbox stick setup. I had Elite controllers, and I would usually use 1 or 2 under paddles, not all 4. I typically would pull 2 of them out and just use 1, maybe 2. I did like that. So I'm looking forward to getting my DualSense Edge. So you should join up with Michael Does Life. That would be hilarious. I mean, I get that he has like a shtick. It's almost like a character. He kind of craps on everything. I don't know if I would ever make content with him because I don't do a character. I mean, we're considering doing a character on another channel, but I wouldn't have a way to interact with him because he's memeing a lot of the times. So yeah, I'm streaming on multiple platforms right now. We unlocked paid subscribers or paid memberships on the talk, but you've got to stream for at least 30 minutes to unlock it. And I stopped streaming over there because it just wasn't doing anything for us. So I thought, okay, well, let's get back over there. You know, we had a video go viral over there, 7 million views on some stupid God of War video that everybody misunderstands what I'm talking about. It went a little crazy, and so we're nearing like 5,000 followers or something. So we're doing pretty well over there. Wouldn't mind having that platform start doing something for us, you know, as well as we've done over there with our short form content. Remember when Lono did characters? I remember. Yeah, I mean, I've done characters in the past, but Reforge Gaming isn't really about characters. It's about dialogue, opinion, discussion, debate, and doing something with him I think would be a little weird. I think people would think that I'm taking it serious, like, you know what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh, this guy's taking this serious, you know, and this, you know, he's just not. Yeah, Francis Fordhead and Hillbilly Jack. Right, that's right. Yo, Eknor, the legend himself, coming back in with a member bomb, taking us to 16 for the day. That's 10, and I love to see names like this get these memberships. H. Brownie is here all the time. Saint Ism was here all day yesterday talking and discussing. We love to see that loyalty rewarded. James, Pager, Uninformed Gamer, Finger, Jamie, Chris Tez, Mick, Troy Addict. You guys all got gifted members. We invite you into our members-only Discord. We also invite you to consider picking up the member yourself. You can upgrade it for $1 if you want, and then that membership will continue every single month. We'd love to see more people convert over. We are now in the 2100s, right? If we hit 2500, there's going to be a triple header horror weekend with my wife. We'll be playing through a horror game until dawn. 2,000 members, you unlock the Star Wars watch party. That's another reason to be in the members-only Discord. You're going to miss those announcements and how we're going to do that. It'll be a Saturday in January. So thanks, everybody, for helping with that. I'm so tired of the state of gaming. All I play is Tetris. Okay. What's the do or die? Well, Xbox in 2023 do or die is number 1. This is the most important thing for Xbox to do in 2023. They've got to launch games, but they can't just launch games. They got to launch good games. People have waited. They have waited for a while for Starfield, for Redfall. I don't think people think of Forza Motorsport in that way. They're not like, oh my gosh, I've waited for so long for this. But I do think everyone's looking at Xbox in 2023 to be the year they sort of cement themselves and prove themselves to be a contender, to be a gaming platform sort of worthy of purchase. Like, I think that's what everybody's looking for. So would love to hear from you over here. Those of you that are watching on the talk, those of you who are in, yo, Brownie's going to upgrade to Member Plus. See, that's what I want to see. I want to see some folks convert. I had a phone call with my YouTube manager this morning. I got a new manager, partner manager, YouTube partner manager. And that was my number one question was, well, how do you get members to convert? I don't feel like they're seeing the content. I feel like we have a bunch of new members come in, you know, and they get that membership, and then I don't think they see any of the content. I have loyal members that are like, this stream was really hard to find. And I'm like, that's not good. So I definitely posed that question. So my next meeting with them, I hope I get some good answers. Hey, Lono, the only game from Xbox I'm looking forward to is Forza because games these days are just rough and not finished. Worst it's been in years. Now that I disagree with. Just the other day, I did my top 5 games of 2022, and then I had an honorable mentions list, and that list got longer and longer and longer as the stream went on. I think you need to go watch that video if you think the state of gaming is that bad. We actually had a pretty tremendous year this year of really good games that launched. Indies are absolutely crushing it, and you're playing the wrong games if you think that. I love the shirt. You can always use the shirt command on YouTube. It'll give you a link. This one will take you to the DC collection over there on 80s Tees. And then make sure and use code LONO when you're over there for 30% off. Golden Age, that's what I'm saying. 2022 was a good year for games. Did they mean the games run like crap, maybe? Well, I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that either. What games are you playing? I mean, okay, what'd you play, Call of Duty this year? I don't think the other games that came out this year played like garbage. Well, maybe, hang on. Maybe they played Plague Tale Requiem, maybe they played Gotham Knights, and maybe they played Call of Duty. I mean, that's a strikeout right there. That's 3 pretty rough games as far as performance goes. And I feel for you. I feel for you. If those were games that you dedicated time and money to in 2022, I feel for you. Like, those games really, they were bad as far as performance goes. They just were. Now, you could argue about Gotham Knights being a bad game in general, and Call of Duty got potential, but you know, almost 2,000 likes over here. Thanks everybody for smacking that screen with your finger and closing on 200 likes on YouTube. Thanks everybody for doing that. Elden Ring had issues at launch. Well, okay, yes. The frame pacing, the frame pacing in Elden Ring, I don't think we want to say, well, it ran bad, ran like garbage or whatever. If you had one message to the world, what would that be? My wife said something the other day about how there's just a kindness deficit in the world, and like the smallest amount of kindness will literally change a person's day and like the way they look at you. Like, she was just doing something kind for these librarians that have helped foster a love for reading in my children. I was like, think about how impactful that is. Like, my kids love reading. That's going to change their entire life. You know what I mean? And she was just being kind to the librarians. And my wife's just noticed that. She's really kind to our mailman and, really kind to the librarians. And these people typically get zero kindness. So I guess maybe I would say that. Just make a slight effort at being kind. I used to work with the public. I was in sales for a very long time. And my gosh, one nice customer can make your entire day different. Like, that's how powerful, being kind is. Microsoft knew Gotham Knights was going to be bad. Otherwise, I would have seen them throw it on Game Pass. I don't know about that one, Danzatastic. I could see that. I'm back. Missed a bit of the live due to a phone call. Welcome back, David Harrison. I just don't like him. Nothing wrong with that. Yo, good morning, Nave. How are you? Have a wonderful day. I love Gotham Knights, but I also played on PC. Yeah, I mean, it ran better on eventually ran better. I don't know. Callisto Protocol ran really bad at launch, too. That might have been a game you were looking forward to. That game has a 60% on Steam. Oh, that thing is hurting on Steam. It still hasn't climbed out of the gutter, and I think the 60% is deserved. I do. I thought it was a pretty bad game. Thank you for being kind to your mailman. Yeah, he got gifts from my kiddos this year because they're always taking him a drink like when it's hot in the summertime and asking him how his day is going and stuff like that. 400 viewers on YouTube. We could easily have 200 likes. Make sure you're smacking that button. Hit subscribe if you want to talk in my chat. Subscribing costs nothing. Membership is $5, but the subscription is free, and I'd love to hear from you. What does Xbox in 2023 need to do for you? Like, where are you in this scenario? Everybody's saying a lot of the same things. David says, my friend plays Elden Ring. I've never played it, but have heard some good things about it. If you've never played a FromSoft game, I would go into it very cautiously. It's a very, very hard game. It'll kick the living tar out of you. It's not a very forgiving game. I don't think Xbox fans will ever let Xbox die. I tell you who would let Xbox die. It isn't the fans. It's Microsoft. It is. If the Activision Blizzard deal doesn't go through, I actually have concerns about that. Just got the #1 gifter badge. Deaf-sided. Oh, thank you so much, Deaf-sided. Sent 9 roses. That's very kind of you. I wish I could see that. Well, I know I see it. It's in the chat. I thought it was supposed to do something on screen, but I guess that's how it's supposed to do it. Very kind of you guys over here. Thank you. It was sarcasm. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, well, of course. Yo, Just Blaze taking us over the goal by 26 members for the day. He's going to gift 10 members. And Hexagon Sun, Jedi Wix, Truth Seeker, Kyle, and Watkins versus the World, Austin Hansen, Michael Villegas, Yadu, Vincent, and Harley Fatboy. You guys all got gifted memberships here on Reforge Gaming. Welcome on in to a Reforge Gaming membership. We invite you to our members-only Discord as well as our members-only content that we do every single day. But since we hit 25, I have to gift 5. Every 25 members, I have to gift 5 to say thank you back to the community. And here comes my 5. If you're watching over here on the talk, we appreciate you watching there. We'll have memberships on that channel very soon as well. Elden Ring won Game of the Year. Lono has covered the game in detail with even gameplay over on YouTube. Yeah, that's true. We have lots of coverage of me playing through that. Feral Huga Gaming, MTO, King Speaks, Mr. T-Rex, and Alicia Witchy. You guys all got a membership from me. Just saying thanks for being here and thanks for helping us hit that. Narwaffle sending a rose over there on the talk. Thank you. It's kind of weird to get a rose from you, Narwaffle. And a controller. He sent no gamepads. He's sending gamepads. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Narwaffle. Lighting looked pretty bright today. I left the room lights on. Let me do one thing. Hang on. There we go. I left the room lights on. It seemed to help with my autofocus woes, but I think they were a little too bright. So I just toned them down just a touch. Let's check second cam. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. It seems to help with the autofocus. Like the camera always wants to focus on this stupid displate back here, and I'm like, come on, man. I personally don't have an Xbox, but maybe more games. The Microsoft Store has seen a few games. Trying to be your voice. I appreciate that, Train. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what Xbox needs to do, says Broken Messiah. They need to nail Starfield. They can't be hands-off like normal Starfield, like normal. Starfield cannot release with any controversy. I'm going to continue to say my #1 concern for Starfield is its performance on the Series S. Right? That's my #1 concern. Absolutely. In my mind, that's going to be a headline problem. That's going to be a headline problem. It's going to feel like Cyberpunk. Right? Discord fighting for attention today. Hey, sorry, Barrier. I got multiple chats open. In what way are you envisioning Game Pass offering trials, says Barrier? In my opinion, shifting to trials instead of full games would not be received well at this point. Microsoft is in too deep. Here's how I would do it, Barrier. I actually think that's a great question. If I was in charge, this is how I would do it. We know that Xbox Game Pass price increase is coming, right? We know that's coming. So what I would do is whenever they make that shift, right? Yeah, I'm live over there, Philip, right now. We unlocked paid subscribers over there, but I have to stream for at least 30 minutes to unlock it and test it out. I want to see how it goes. We're actually doing okay over there today. You know, we spiked way up, and then it always settles down after. We got 15 viewers. I actually think what we do could be received well over there. Very interactive talk show, right? Like talking gaming. I just think people have to find us over there. I also think our audio quality and camera quality would be very well rivaled over there. I don't think a lot of people hit the level of quality that we do on that platform. They're usually like echoey and in a room, you know, shouting at their phone with like music playing in the background. Anyway, if came across it on my For Your page. Oh, thank you, Brownie. So this is how I would do it. If I was in charge of Game Pass and I wanted to foster an ecosystem and a culture on that system, because right now I don't think it fosters an ecosystem and a culture of purchase. You need to foster an ecosystem and a culture of purchase, okay? I would say whenever you have to price increase it, you add game trials of games that are not on Game Pass. Does that make sense? You don't want it to be viewed as taking away. It needs to be seen as additive. Hey, there's all these really big titles that currently don't live on Game Pass. You now get to play them as a trial as a part of Game Pass. Maybe make it as a part of Game Pass Ultimate. But I really think the way that you would kind of trick people is you would do it when you do the price increase. You know, hey, nobody likes a price increase. We want to give you something more since you're paying more for Game Pass now. We're going to be adding games to a trial list so you can play the game for a couple hours before you buy it. That would start to foster a culture of purchase. And then what did you just do? You just normalized something not hitting Game Pass, but hitting game trials. Big fan from India. Thank you for saying it so many times, Limping Flame. Appreciate it. What are you normally live on? Nicholas, I am typically live on YouTube every single day. Reforge Gaming is where I'm live over on YouTube. Monday through Friday, multiple shows a day. We do members-only streams, and I'm open to simulcasting and doing what I'm doing right now, where I'm on Talk and I'm on YouTube at the same time, since we have paid memberships now that I can turn on the Talk. I just want to see how well it goes. We've had a pretty solid and steady turnout today over here, so if you guys are digging the content, you know, smash that screen and go crazy with the likes. Follow my presence over here, and I'll keep doing it. It's not that hard for me to go live in both places. It really isn't. I just mount my phone right up next to my camera, so I'm looking at both of you. You know. Thank you for the gamepad, J Main. Greetings from Iran. Greetings. So I'm paying more, and now you aren't giving me the full game anymore. I always got the full game before. Zubair says, how's changing the spending culture on YouTube to match that on Purple going? My take is that it's a very slow process. It's a big boat you are trying to turn. Right. I disagree with Trials also. If you want to be everywhere, you want lowest barrier of entry. An ad-supported free version of Game Pass is the best. Embrace your culture. Get subs. Microsoft isn't Sony. Thank you. Seen your videos on Talk for a while. Gonna check. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we had a couple of insane videos go crazy over here. That God of War video with like 7 million views. Oh my gosh. It's kind of annoying because everybody misunderstands the video and reams me out. They don't realize I'm a massive God of War fan, so they misunderstand the video. I was defending the game against haters, and the video has gone viral on both platforms. Like, I think over here on YouTube it has almost 700,000 views. Hasn't made me a dime because shorts aren't monetized. So just a bunch of hate. It's like, if I'm going to get a bunch of hate in my inbox, at least pay me my money. You got 7 million views and you're not even a hot chick. Impressive. That's right. Did you hear Nvidia streaming is shutting down? Do you think this will affect Xbox and Sony streaming services? I don't know if they're that related. Yeah, I don't know, Robert. I think Microsoft has their sights set on xCloud and cloud-based solutions. So streaming games, I don't think they're moving away from it. I think they're moving toward it. I mean, Microsoft just brokered that deal with Samsung TVs, so you'll be able to play Xbox Game Pass right on a Samsung television. I think that's just the beginning. That was one of the things I said this morning. One of the things I said this morning was you need to put your ecosystem in more places, right? So that you don't feel like you're limited to hardware saturation. A lot of third-party companies are going to look at Microsoft and say, your console saturation in the market is just not that good. But if they're like, well, you don't need to be on our console, you can be on our ecosystem, then that's a big selling point. You know what I'm saying? I got my signed Frickmas coffee bag. It was my first coffee order. It was great, 10 out of 10. Hey, Coral Reefer, promoting our coffee. This is not an ad placement. This is ours, actually. Reforge Roast. We got a holiday blend. Reforge Gaming. That's not a sponsor. That's mine. You can go to reforgeroast.com. If you're a coffee drinker and you've never tried coffee before with balanced acidity, you got to try mine. It'll convert you for sure. And now your mama knows says GFN isn't shutting down. It's just streaming content from the Shield TV. Oh, they're just shutting that part down. Okay. I was looking at some of your videos this morning, and now your mama knows. I was trying to find one of yours to react to, because I think that you and like Doc Dark, like you guys have such good energy. I couldn't find one. I was trying. You get into some stuff that like I don't really cover here. So I was like, this is kind of tough. So I'll keep my eyes out. See if I can't find something over there that I like. You know, I like your energy. I need the topic to be within my lane, you know. Microsoft wants to be out of hardware, and in the future, they're more interested in mobile than console. One of the main things they want from the Xbox Activision deal is king. You see what I'm saying? I'm not a coffee drinker, but I plan to try your coffee. I watch you on YouTube, and I'm on here today. Thank you, Chains. I appreciate that very, very much. Yeah, if you're not a coffee drinker, then try our light roast and then get some Italian sweet cream. That I've converted non-coffee drinkers before. The balanced acidity means like no bitterness. And then you put a little Italian sweet cream in there and yeah, I'll convert you. I'll make you a coffee drinker. I appreciate taking a look at my content. You're welcome, dude. It directly refutes the claim being made regardless that not what non-Game Pass subs spend unless it's being said that they're lying. What's Cujo trying to say? Let me see, because I think I know what he's trying to say. Is he trying to say that there is a spending culture that always claim that, but when Microsoft releases numbers, they say Game Pass subs spend more than non-subs? Okay. Thank you, Narwaffle, for sending the cap over there. That puts it on my head. That's cool. All right, here's the deal. Cujo. That stat that Game Pass subscribers spend more money than non-Game Pass subscribers, it's such a suspicious stat. It is, okay? It's a suspicious stat. Because, of course they do. They're already spending more. Right? You're going to somebody. That would be like Amazon saying people that subscribe to Amazon Prime tend to rent more movies and watch and buy more movies on Amazon than people that don't subscribe to Amazon Prime. Well, of course, they're already in your funnel. They're already spending more money, so they're more prone to spend more money. It's not a winsome stat. I'm not compelled by that. Like, you don't say. Game Pass subscribers spend more money on the platform than people that don't subscribe to Game Pass. Yeah? Of course. They already are. You're telling me something that I don't need to be told. Imagine how many people just play free-to-play games and spend literally nothing. Eugene says, of course Game Pass subs spend more. They're people who are naturally inclined to spend more. They're paying a monthly sub. That's what I mean. Like, their monthly outgo is already higher than, like, non-Game Pass subs. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking Xbox in 2023. What do they need to do? I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? What do they need to do in 2023? Especially for you. Where do you land? We already hit our member goal for the day. We can continue to hit that, by the way. Every 25, I got to give 5. So if you're enjoying the show, show me some appreciation. You can smack the screen for likes. You can hit the thumbs up for a like. That doesn't cost you anything, and we appreciate you so much being here and doing all of that. We are live in 2 different places. And if you want to talk in my chat, let me know what you think, man. We're a highly interactive stream, and I would absolutely love to know what you think about this subject. They need to put out some quality, says Tunable Power. Tunable Power says they need to put some quality first-party games. I agree with you. And here's the thing. I like that you qualified it. I do. I like that you qualified it. It's not just launch some games. We need quality first-party games. If you have another Halo Infinite, buddy, that's going to be for a lot of people kind of the end of the day. Like, I'm done with this platform. I think Xbox in 2023 needs to put out at least 4 really popular games that everyone is talking about. That's exactly right. You want Starfield in the headlines to be something the likes of Starfield delivers on its promises. Like, Starfield delivers a truly exceptional RPG experience. You can't have Starfield and this is my concern, you cannot have Starfield mired by performance issues. And that's my greatest concern about that game. I think Bethesda knows how to build a great RPG. I think everything I've seen about Starfield looks like they're going to nail the systems and the scope and the size. Performance, dude. Performance is my number one concern with that game. I think they just need to launch competent first-party games. Just land the effing plane, says Zubair. That's right. Exclusive games keep the consoles relevant. PlayStation has God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Man, etc. Microsoft gives us tired and exhausted Halo and Gears of War. Yeah, people are asking me, like, why aren't we mentioning Gear 6? We don't have a time frame for Gear 6, my man. Gear 6 in 2023? I have no idea. Stalker 2 looks to only be a timed exclusive, like 3 months. That's why no one mentions it. I also am not confident in Stalker 2 launching next year. Come on, man. They just had another tragedy, that poor dev team. I don't know, man. I don't see it. I say that with sadness. I don't see that game landing next year. I think that's sad, but I think that's the reality. Right? Thank you for sending so many likes over here. You guys are awesome. Not even concerned for Gear 6. Haven't played 3, 4, or 5. That is what we're told, says Detective Seeds, but there's truly no way to know that until purchase. I'm just not a fan of them on either platform. I don't like it on my PlayStation, and I wouldn't on Microsoft either. People talking about a game doesn't mean that the game is good. Look at how people talk about Gotham Knights. What are you and Detective Seeds going back and forth about? Are you guys debating whether or not exclusive titles are good or bad? Or, like, are you guys actually debating that? I'm curious. What are you guys debating? Are you debating whether or not, like, exclusivity is good or bad for the industry? Lethal Lady says, this is where gaming companies mess up. Announcing games too early for the hype, but it dies too quick with no info. Xbox fans specifically doesn't have anything special to look forward to. Oh, game trials. I don't know how you could make a good argument against game trials. How? What's the problem? They're doing an extra layer of service for the consumer to increase your confidence in every purchase. How is that bad? How? I can't see it. I can't see it. Like, imagine if Amazon Prime would let you watch the first episode of a season in a show before buying it, right? Let's say they have shows on Amazon Prime that aren't on Prime. Like, you've got to buy the season, okay? And if they were like, hey, as a part of Amazon Prime, we're going to let you watch the first episode. Well, that's awesome. Like, okay, cool. And if the pilot hooks you, what do you think you're going to do? Purchase. You're fostering a culture of purchase. And not just purchase, but confident purchase. Satisfaction goes up. You'd get more purchases from people that are then confident in the purchase and then are happy with it. And they feel, oh, this is great. In my opinion, they need Starfield and Avowed to both be massive hits. I agree with you. I do. Why can't demos or trials just be free? It's extra work. It's extra work, homie. You expect Microsoft or Sony or the game devs themselves to do extra work hoping that it helps them? No. It's a service. It's a service to you. If it was just easy and they could just press a button, I promise you right now, if it was easy and not costly, all games would do it. Well, not all games, but virtually all games would do it. Why would you not? Hey, we can press this button and people can try out our game for free. Why aren't we doing that? Because it's expensive. Like, the devs aren't even the one creating the trials on the Sony ecosystem. Sony created an infrastructure that allows you to play a game on a timer. They had to build that software. They have to update that software. They have to maintain it. They have to apply it to certain games differently. You can play Horizon Forbidden West for 5 hours. Anybody who buys Horizon Forbidden West after 5 hours is what a value that was to you. You get to test so much. Skill trees. Is Sony poor and broke? Are you? Are you? Is it too hard to pay for value? A little? I'm not taking a swing, but that's the issue, is it not? If you're on the low end of income, if you're a little broke, making demands of companies to just give you free value, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I can't afford to go to a 5-star steak restaurant. I'm not in that demographic of existence. I have friends that can treat their family members when they come to town. They take them to the ritziest places, and it's awesome. I can't do that, right? Imagine me going to some very expensive restaurant and just not, like, why don't you make this stuff more affordable? Why don't you give this stuff away for free? Why does this cost money? Because it's value laden. Like, you're getting value. Coming to Sony, coming to Microsoft and be like, what, are you guys just too poor to give me this stuff for free? It doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty broke right now. Christmas just passed. I had to, but the system and the game still. Listen, that is not at all me trying to like take a swing at people who fall on hard times, or you're trying to rub two nickels together to keep the heat on. I have no hate or dislike for you. I feel for you. I have been there myself. We are literally, I know this studio looks really nice and you think, oh, this guy's got it made. Brother, no. We are climbing out of the gutter of fear and terror of, is this going to work? I know what it's like to be like, things are getting kind of low. Like, I know what that's like. But I don't take that situation and then try to approach companies and act like, oh, you should just give me all this value for free. I can't afford it, so just give it away. Sony and Xbox and all these companies, they are in the markets to make money. So giving you something like game trials and having it be a part of a subservice value, like, well, why can't they give it to me for free? What, are they broke? What? That doesn't even make any sense. Welcome new people. Topic of discussion. Thank you, Train, for letting everybody know what we're talking about over here. 4,000 likes over on Talk. Thank you. The value and quality over the years has fallen hard. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Go to my YouTube channel, Reforge Gaming, watch my video, the top 5 games of 2022, and listen to the incredibly long list of honorable mentions after the top 5. Top 5 are like award-winning games. And then listen to the laundry list of honorable mentions. We had a great year in 2022. Quality of games is in a great spot. Trials list? Holy moly, what is happening? Oh, Eugene's just showing us how many trials there are. As someone who reviews a ton of games in their entirety, I'm not a fan of someone making a purchase decision off of a trial knowing bad things are baked in throughout the game. I don't care about the free or paid for. I'm not a fan of either platform, that's all. Wait. Hang on. Make this make sense to me. You're not a fan of someone making a purchase decision off of a trial knowing bad things are baked in throughout the game. So instead they should what? What should they do? Buy the game blind? Or wait for you to review it? That doesn't make any sense at all. So instead of the ecosystem fostering informed purchase, they should either buy the video blind or come and watch your videos. I don't understand the logic points you're trotting out. Just imagine climbing is your hobby, but you go on a tantrum because climbing is expensive and you have to travel and pay for all of that. Gosh, I want to travel for free and free equipment. Gosh. A trial can be behind a paywall because that's like 5 hours. That's fine. But a demo was just like an hour cut from a point and it was free. Master Jazz. Independent developers have spoken out about this. In order for them to give you a demo, they have to literally create what is called a vertical slice. They give you a slice of the game with a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's dev time, okay? That they don't necessarily have. the ROI on that is harder to measure sometimes. That's why people moved away from doing it. Now, what Sony is doing is exactly what I would love to see Xbox do. You just get to play the game for a certain number of hours, and if you liked it and you want to keep playing, spend the money. That creates a funnel of informed and confident consumers who, when they purchase something, they know, yeah, I'm going to get my money's worth out of this. This is a good game. Or, oh my gosh, I'm glad I avoided that game. The first hour or two was just rough. I didn't like it. Clunky. Didn't feel good. Have to split. Nice stream, Reforge. Keep it real. Thank you. Smokey just became a VIP member here on YouTube at Reforge Gaming, taking us to 27 members on the day. I love seeing new members. I get excited about one new member as much as I do for like a batch of gifteds. If you've never done a membership on YouTube before, try me out for a month. It's $5. YouTube sometimes even gives you a discount on your first ever membership. So click the join button or that dollar button. Consider becoming a member today. I do extra member streams every day when I have my lunch, and we have a members only Discord. We'd love to get you folded into our community here. Thank you, Smokey, for jumping in on your own. Shut up, Eugene. That's not what I said. I'm trying to say that trials are not an entirety of the game. It's a snippet that has been done by a publisher and not the developer, so I would not rely on it. But that's not true. That's false. The trials on PlayStation, it's literally just a timer. It's not a handcrafted selection point of the game to trick you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, John RPG. We got a little member train going. Who else wants to jump in? This is what I want to see, man. I want to see new members. That white badge, I want to see that. Gifteds are amazing, but that right there is what I want to see. Thank you, John RPG, for jumping in. Reforge, what would you like me to refer to you as since I'm new? Oh, you can call me Lono. Everybody calls me Lono. You don't got to call me Reforge. You can call me Lono. I mean, honestly, if you guys want to call me Lucas, I don't care. My real name is Lucas, but I go by Lono in this environment. It's like a nickname. It's like my handle, my gamer tag. What did Eugene say? Trials are the game. Your progress is saved. You continue where the trial ended. That's what I'm saying. I don't like trials because I want people to watch my reviews. I don't think he was saying that, Eugene. It kind of... Listen. It kind of sounded that way. Lono? Yeah, Lono. Yeah. If you go to any of the websites that I'm partnered with, that's my code. Like if you go to Gamer Advantage and you want to get like blue light blocking glasses like this, right? They're real stylish. Use my code Lono. 80s Tees, code Lono, right? It's Lono. Anywhere you go, if you use like the Epic Store to buy something, code Lono. It supports me. Clearly, Xbox is moving totally away from the market PlayStation completely dominates, and on the other hand, that market has an expiration date like all media evolution. Wait, I'm sorry. What market do you see them leaving, and what market are you saying has an expiration date? Did you say Gamer Advantage? Yeah, we're partnered with Gamer Advantage. I'm back with Gamer Advantage. Yo, and your mama knows. And your mama knows. And now your mama knows. Becoming a member. Here, let me switch glasses. I don't have my sunglass attachments down here for the storms, but I have these. This is one of the primary reasons I like these. I don't have to take my prescription sunglasses with me anywhere. Here. And your mama knows I'm going to add to the member count while wearing sunglasses. I'm going to look good doing this. 29. They're also very flexible. They're made from the same material that like IV hoses are made from. So very flexible, durable, and extremely light. My gunners, I was partnered with Gunner Optics for a while. My gunners are so heavy. Like I put them on last night to compare. It's like putting a toaster on my face. Like it's like weighs on my nose. These, super light. Super duper light. Done. I want to see him use the AI manga. Oh, over there on talk. Yeah, I'm not doing that. You're over there on talk. Where's cleavage and booty? No. Thank you again for jumping in as a member, and now your mama knows. I appreciate that. You got the deal back. Only reason I own these glasses is because you recommended them. I've been wearing them since the first deal. I'm so happy for you. Hey, I would love to see a ton of people use my code over there. I'm going to get them to send me some more frames to showcase on the stream. Let's absolutely blow it out over there, man. Go buy a pair of sunglasses. I don't know. Just go buy a pair of glasses. They're very affordable. Been pretty cool watching you ever since I've seen the Doc Dark video. And as a content creator, I want to support you since I watch a bunch of your content. Good stuff, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. 2,500 members, and Lono has to play Friday night with a toaster on his face. Just bring the toaster down. No. 2,500 members, and we're going to do a triple header horror weekend like we did with The Quarry, where my wife and I will play a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, hang out with you guys each night, playing through until dawn. We did hit 2,000, so this is why you want to be in the members-only Discord. We're going to give you guys the details on how to watch that watch party in January. Detective says, I'll put it clear for you. I trust a review of its entirety more than a trial. The first 2 hours are great, but at hour 3, you hit a paywall, Gacha mechanics, etc. That's my point. Yo, my man Gabby jumping back in as a member and getting that green badge. Detective Seats, here's the problem with what you're saying. You're speaking in such sweeping generalizations that we just know are not true. We know that's not true. How many games right now that I can go play as a trial is that going to happen? They're like, 2 hours, man, such a great time. They're like, the third hour is when all of the bad things happen. Who's doing that? What, is Dr. Claw making video games? Next time, Gadget. Like, what? Who's doing that? How many games are doing this surprise, like, all of a sudden, your third hour in, they're like sucker punching you with trash monetization and gacha mechanics and a paywall. Who's doing this? Who is doing this? So you think trials are going to lead to sucker punch gaming and what you're going to save people from that with like full reviews? I don't get it. I don't get it. Here's the alternative. If they're sucker punching people at the third hour, isn't that going to happen regardless of the game trial? Or are you saying that a trial culture, that would become endemic to the culture? That, like, yeah, if they start letting people try out games, they're going to start making everything crappy after the third hour. You see what I'm saying? Warframe kind of does that with its tutorial, Lumfow, but not with a paywall. Yeah. Warframe also doesn't really tell you how to play their game. These games like 2K that have demos every year, demos can be played forever. The point is that Xbox should do trials like Sony, not a little snippet of the game, but the full game on a timer. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that could open the door to that happening. Okay, so when it comes to compelling argumentation, I don't find that type of argumentation to ever be compelling. Well, if they do this, I mean, this really bad thing could happen in the future. That's not compelling. I remember in Destiny 1, when they started selling decorative elements for guns, I remember being told, here we go. Slippery slope, man. Here, pay to win. Pay for power. They're going to do it. Never did. Never did. In fact, probably is one of the leading examples of a good microtransaction store in the industry, with respect of empowering the gamer to earn things, informing the gamer of what's purchase only, getting rid of RNG loot box mechanics. They're probably one of the archetypal micro stores that you should look to. Like additive microtransaction stores should look like that store. How's that not compelling to not go down a rabbit hole that could lead to a bad practice? It's not compelling because there's nothing substantive to the argument. It's a presumption of worst case scenario. So you're imagining, I want you to listen to what you're saying. So you're imagining that, because Sony's doing it right now. Sony's doing it right now. So according to you, let's just say it's likely. You're not saying it's likely, but it's only really compelling if it's very likely. Here we go. Sony's got trials, man. All these Sony games are going to start coming out, and the 2 hours are going to be great, and then they're going to nail you with gacha mechanics and paywalls and trash. after the first 2 hours. So you think devs are going to put their heads together and say, I got it, guys. I got it. We just make the first 2 hours great, and then we nail them. You think that devs are going to do that in great numbers. That's what's going to happen. Like, trial culture is going to lead to that. So we should stay in, what culture are we in now? Buying incomplete games and not being able to get a refund? Waiting and watching YouTubers and streamers? Wouldn't it be better for, I don't know, the lion's share of the gaming populace that will never watch my videos or your videos? They don't know we exist. That audience, that greater percentage of the consumer base, should be empowered to know what they're buying, and Trials would do that. Who's the guy behind you? That's like the oldest trick in the book. $10 tip from Dark Taco. Lono, my man. With the saturation of the Series S on the market, do you think it's going to harm Microsoft making an Audible and focusing less on the Series S, or is it worth it long term? Thank you for the 10 spot. Yo, what's good, Surge? Okay, great question. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking what Xbox in 2023 needs to do. And one of the things I actually argued, which we could probably start to debate this now. There's a lot of debate points here. Let's debate this one. I think they need to shift focus to market saturation of the Series X away from the Series S, so that their mid-generation update, if they do like a Series X Pro, I think that's important for their future. I think the Series S is bad for the future of the platform. I do. I think third-party devs are going to have a real problem with that system long term. I think that. I don't know. I don't think Trials are that popular anyways. Not everyone will play them. Well, here's the thing. And now your mama knows. Think about this with me. Imagine turning on your Xbox and you scroll down to Game Pass and it says new arrivals. And then right underneath that it says new trials. And you see that hot item, that hot game that just came out. And you're like, I can try that? That's a $70 game. I can try that under Game Pass? Well, okay. Bloop. You're going to push the button. What does that do? What does that do to value transmission in your mind? Yo, Game Pass is great. I didn't know if I was going to like this game or not, and they let me play it for 2 hours. And buddy, let me tell you, it's great. Or, buddy, let me tell you, this is not what I expected. Let me give an example with Scorn. So Scorn went on Game Pass, which means they got a nice fat check from Microsoft. I hope it was plenty of money. I hope it helped fund their next project, because I think they were a cool developer. I thought what they did was pretty creative, okay? Scorn, unfortunately, was marketed in a way that it was marketed in a way where people thought they were going to get like kind of like a Doom creepy crawly shooter, creepy gross puzzler, right? It's not at all. It's not at all that. Here, yeah, I'll read Talika's message in a minute. Eugene pushed it out with his spam of trials. So imagine people being able to try Scorn for 2 hours and then buy it if they like it. Well, what do you think that does? Well, what it does is it empowers those people to buy it and be like, this is great. I really like this. And then the people that were like, I thought this was going to be a shooter, and then they don't buy it. That's a really, really good treatment of the content. It's like the right people are buying the game. Didn't you argue similarly with the purchase of Activision? You said if that happens, then it's bad for the quality of the product. Now you tell someone their idea of trials is wrong. No, you see, the difference between my argument and their argument is I substantiated my argument with a pattern in the market. Giant consolidation in the market has consistently been bad for the consumer. That's a compelling argument. His argument's not compelling because it's the presumption of the worst case scenario. I'm not presuming worst case scenario. I didn't say Microsoft's going to do this and this and this. Never said that. I said, look at tech consolidation of internet service providers. Look at tech consolidation of the cell phone providers. It's done nothing for the consumer. Nothing. It's done nothing for you but limit your options and raise prices and lower quality. The internet infrastructure in America is globally embarrassing. It is embarrassing. Why? Because we let all these companies consolidate and insulate and protect themselves. No competition. Your service sucks. I'm going to go to the competitor. Who's that? Who's that? Who are you going to go to? That's what I argued. That's a compelling argument. You can see that evidenced in the market. You can see it evidenced in the history of tech consolidation. It never does anything for you. What's one big consolidation of companies? Name one that's done great things for you. You can't. That's why I'm against it. So that's not the same as being like, oh, but if we let people try out games as a value to them before buying them, developers are going to become these sinister, awful people. And just how long do you think they're going to get away with that? It's so short-sighted. It's so short-sighted. Like, a couple of devs would do that. Then they'd get away with it. Like, oh, man, the first 2 hours were great. And then the third hour, I got hit with a paywall. I got hit with gotcha mechanics. After that, don't you think that would start to fold in on itself? It wouldn't. You'd get away with it like once. People in chat can laugh and joke, but some of the bad practices that have occurred in gaming started very small. Could trials be great in the future? Yes, but I'm not a fan of the practice. You've substantiated not being a fan of trials in, I think, I just don't think it's very compelling. I think it's very weak argumentation. I definitely disagree with you about the X versus the S as brutal gear, because I think Microsoft was on top when they were the cheap console, 360 versus PS3. With Series X and S, they can fill both lanes. It's not about... It's not a hardware battle anymore. It's a software battle. And when you have distributed a piece of hardware into the market that makes it difficult for certain types of software to land, I don't think that that's good. What's up, Lono? Good to see you on Talk. Hey, how are you? What's that name? Oh, Wayne's Saloon. Good to see you, Wayne's Saloon. I don't understand why they even make the Series S. It's like if a PlayStation made a PlayStation 4.5. Better than the 4, but can't handle PS5 games. Yeah, well, Series S is not actually that much better than the Xbox One. Less memory. Imagine upgrading your console and getting less memory. Why would someone think game trials is a bad idea? His argument is essentially this. Okay, so one of the best ways to dismantle an argument is to try to argue from that position. I'm going to do my absolute best to argue from Detective Seed's position. Okay, so he's essentially arguing that we've seen bad practices take root in the gaming market with respect to quality, toxic monetization, sort of surprising people, squeezing people. We've seen this with Genshin and other games, right? He's springboarding off of that observable element of the gaming world, which I think often gets overstated, but he's saying that is grounds to think that game trials would lead to devs in great enough numbers to cause concern to be against game trials. Keep in mind, he's against game trials. I don't like them. Which I think necessitates saying most devs would do this, not just a couple, but most devs would start making the first 2 hours really great, and then they'd sucker punch you with toxic monetization, gotcha mechanics, or the game quality would plummet. And I think that is antithetical to what developers would want to do with their property and their games. And as far as a business strategy goes, you talk about burning trust and goodwill like that. What are you going to make one game and never make another game? Because everyone's going to remember that one time you did that. Yeah, these are the guys that made the first 2 hours great, and then as soon as you hit the 2.5 hour mark, they started smacking you in the face with gotcha and nasty microtransactions. You'd get away with it one time. That's why I don't think... What we've established more and more and more... Mike on a mic with a $10 tip. Good morning, chat and Lono. 2022 was a great year for games, but next year will be greater. Good convo today. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for the $10 tip. What we've been establishing more and more is the pattern in the market is what? And this is actually related to some of the bad monetization practices. What have we been saying? Every game wants you to live in their game. They want you to play their game and stay there and spend money, right? That strategy is at just loggerheads with make the first 2 hours great and then smack them in the face with bad practices. That is not how you get people to continue playing their game. You talk about a terrible strategy. I mean, that would be a terrible strategy. Oh, we made a bunch of money on the front end, but then everybody abandoned our game because at the 2.5 hour mark, we hit them in the face with terrible practices. I can't see that meting out because it's so antithetical to what companies are trying to do with their games right now. Geek to Sneak with half a year of membership. Nice milestone, and it's a member plus. I love Xbox perhaps more than PlayStation, but they need to step it up. Patiently waiting for Hellblade 2, Redfall, Fable, Starfield, and Perfect Dark. Hollow with a $2 tip. If they did that with a trial, there would be riots. My opinion is not based on Sony doing it. I love Sony and my PlayStation. I gladly pay for games, and I'm thankful to be able to afford them. You know how fast that news would spread? Hey, after your trial is over, if you buy it, it becomes gotcha. Yeah, I can't imagine. I don't know. I can't imagine that being. I don't think that would become endemic to a culture of game trials. Do you know what I think would become endemic to a culture of game trials? Game quality would go up. Why? Because if you want people to buy your game, they expect to play it first. Why do you think indie game quality has gone up? Why? Take a guess. Where do indie games live and have their largest presence? Where? Steam. And what is unique about the Steam marketplace compared to other gaming marketplaces? You can return the game. So don't you think that that's evidence of an ecosystem that says if you don't like the game, you don't have to pay for it? Has that turned into a bad situation? No, it's turned into a quality rise, right? Yeah, Silent Seraph is saying on Talk, the free trial for Final Fantasy seems to work well. Hey, let people try it out. The idea that a trial is an entirely different game meant to make the game look way better than it actually is just wouldn't work. Right, because game trial is different than game demo. We have to be very, very careful here that we don't conflate the vernacular. A game trial is literally, we're going to let you play the game for an hour or two. A game demo is like a vertical slice of the game. That, yes, I actually agree with that. They could trick you. They could be like, yeah, here's a vertical slice of the game, and it runs phenomenally well, looks beautiful, and is really fun, and is awesome. And then you buy the game, and it's like, it runs like garbage. Like, Outriders is a good example of this. The Outriders demo, as a vertical slice, it ran better than the launch version of the game. Solemn says, I think a full review is better than a trial for reasons like bugs throughout the game, terrible endgame and grind, bad skill tree ability currencies, reuse of bosses through the game, terrible grind, things like that, less so than monetization practices of the game. There's a giant glaring problem with your argument. It's built on a false dichotomy. Why are we pitting full reviews against game trials as if that's a dichotomy that exists? Do you honestly think the average consumer who's opening up their Xbox or their PlayStation and checking out Game Pass or trials or games that they might want to play, do you honestly think those people are coming to YouTube and waiting for Skill Up to review the game? Like, that's why I said foster a culture of purchase. Foster a culture of purpose. Those millions of people. You've got 25 million people on Game Pass. How many of those people do you think are like coming to YouTube? Not very many. We've talked about this before. They're casual gamers, right? They buy the Series S. It's a Game Pass machine. They just want to go in there and play games, or they do it for their kids or whatever. And suddenly, fostering within that 25 million people a regular... Thank you for the sunglasses, Narwaffle. I just saw them. Like, you're fostering a group of people within that 25 million that's getting to try games and like, I really like this. Boom, and they buy it. I trialed the newest Star Wars Lego Star Wars Saga yesterday for something different, and it felt a little buggy. With the building? Where did you play it? I've not had any issues with that game at all. Star Wars Skywalker Saga? Buggy? With the building? Casual games spend more on games than hardcore gamers. Like, I feel like it's built on a false dichotomy. Like, I don't think anybody is saying what's more important, game trials or full reviews. Like, that's not really a debate point. My entire point, I outlined 5 things that I think Xbox needs to do in 2023, and one of them was foster a culture of spending. Lean into game trials. I'm saying a trusted reviewer's full review is better overall for an informed purchase than a trial. Not that trials aren't good, nor that a majority of people would use reviews. I didn't preface that in my last message. So, with all due respect, then what's the point of what you're saying? Who asked of that question? No one's asking that question. Which do you think is better, a trial or an overall review? No one's asking that question. You're positing something that it doesn't land on the discussion. Like, what? Who cares about that? I'm not talking to you and saying you would get tons of more value out of game trials. You're like, no, I typically wait for reviews. No, I'm saying foster a culture of purchase, meaning the general consumer would be more likely to purchase if they could try something out first. They can both coexist without affecting each other. Yeah, I don't think they're in tension. So, what do you think's going to happen? Do you think like the demand for really thoughtful full reviews is going to go down if people can try games first? I don't think so. You're still going to be able to look to guys like SkillUp. I mentioned him, by the way, because I love his reviews. I think he's excellent. I really do. I actually would love to be able to do a segment with him. I would love to pick his brain about things. I think he's a sharp guy and a good content creator. My point being is, though, is like the average consumer doesn't even know who SkillUp is. They don't. That's not a slam, by the way. He knows that. Anybody on YouTube knows that. The lion's share of the consumer base ain't coming to YouTube. They're just not. In response to the guy saying that trials weren't good and people should use full reviews, I was coming in with the middle ground of why they're better instead of saying, oh, okay, no, I see what you're saying, Solemn. You were adding to that dialogue. I thought you were basically coming in behind him and saying, no, I agree. Reviews are so much better. I prefer a trial to a review every day of the week. Reviews are someone else's opinion. I would rather play the game myself and decide for myself if I want to buy it. Yeah, that's a great example. There were plenty of reviews about who's SkillUp. SkillUp is a big YouTuber. He does really, really thoughtful reviews of games. They're fairly lengthy, and he puts a lot of time and thought into them. You should check him out. You should. I think people should watch his content and support him. I think he deserves it. He does really good coverage of games. He's like, I don't recommend content unless I think it's worth your time. I think his content is worth your time. I think you'll come away from his content and be like, well, that was worth a watch. I would say the same about Force Gaming. I think Force Gaming's content is very helpful and informative. I think he does good work. I'm not sure about this game. Reviews are mixed, but it looks cool to me. Let me boot up this trial. Right. There were plenty of reviews about Plague Tale Requiem that made it sound like it was great. And then I played it, and I was like, this is not great. It runs bad. I would have played an hour and a half of Deathloop and been like, I don't know why people are saying this game's a 10 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10. It's probably about a 7. Like, what? And I wouldn't have bought it. I wouldn't have bought it. Shelly says, with regards of Xbox and Samsung deal, did you see that Xbox used a DualSense in their advert? How do they get Sony to agree with that? Granted, it's a little low key. Well, Shelly, I think that's a great question. I think it's because Samsung and Sony are, they're definitely not enemies. I also don't think Sony has any problem promoting their hardware. They don't care about that. Oh, hey! Don't promote our controller. Don't you dare do that. You know? Imagine someone giving Sony money because they think the controller looks nice and then playing Xbox games on their Samsung television. I don't think Sony cares about that at all. I don't care. They don't care about that. It was full-on Game Pass on a Samsung? Oh, no, Shelly. I know. The optics on it is a little odd, but I don't think it's bad. Noberto was just going to say that. He says, I heard someone hate about Cyberpunk, played it at my buddies, and left feeling meh. After the trial, I was hooked and I bought it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially now. Gillup has spoken on his podcast with FPS that he's not in favor of game trials for the exact same reasons I pointed out. ACG has done the same, both extremely large and well-respected reviewers. Yeah, and I think they're wrong. Fallacy of the expert? Like, what? That doesn't substantiate your position just because some big YouTubers agree with you. I would love to debate that with Skillup. Skillup, this is a formal invitation to come on my show. I'll debate you about game trials because you're wrong. Come on, Ralph. Their opinions are completely self-serving. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard not to see the bias. It's really hard not to see, like, well, hang on a minute. Are you worried that game trials will, I don't know, make people feel less of a need to come and watch your lengthy game reviews because they can play the game on their own and make up their own mind? I mean, I don't know. I want to say what Ben Affleck says in Good Will Hunting. You suspect. You suspect. Oh, I would hate for that to happen. An ecosystem of game trials where people can play games for an hour and a half to 2 hours and make up their own mind, and suddenly my lengthy game reviews are less in demand. That would be terrible. That would be bad. Of course it would be bad. You would see, you know, you'd be like, oh, should I do a game review of this? Oh, it's on a game trial. Oh, I don't know. I'll probably get some lower viewership on this one. I'm going to pick games that don't have game trials. It doesn't threaten their revenue stream. A 2-hour trial doesn't equate to the entirety of a review. If you think in 5 years it's incredibly common for big name releases to let you play the game for 2 hours, if you think that wouldn't have an effect on homies that do lengthy game reviews, you're kidding yourself. It would. It would. Because people would be like, I don't need to go watch the review. I tried it myself. Why do you think people watch reviews? They watch them because they're not sure if they should spend the money. And if they can answer that question without watching the YouTube video, consumers are like water. Path of least resistance. And that's the path of least resistance. I don't got to go to YouTube. I don't got to wait a week. I can boot up my Xbox, push 2 buttons, and I'm playing the $70 game without having to spend $70. I don't need that guy's video. It takes him a week typically to put them out anyway. 100% that would hurt them. That would hurt them if that becomes a widespread ecosystem, right? I'm not slamming them, by the way. If I was them, I'd be thinking the same thing. Ooh, this could be really bad for us. Like, we're literally helping a large swath of consumers decide about purchasing a game. And this ecosystem of game trials is a direct threat to what I offer. Try trial the game. Want more information? Read watch a review. Watch a review. They can advise you to try the game for yourself. Is that not a win-win? No. Reviews are not always available before games. Yeah. It wouldn't, and I'll tell you why. The reviews are released before you can play the trial. Not always. No. One of the things that SkillUp does is a lot of the times is he drops reviews about a week after the game comes out or a couple of days after the game comes out. Sure. What you're saying would probably be the reaction, Detective Seeds. They would more heavily focus on games that they can play and review early with embargo to get out in front of the game trial so that somebody could watch their review and be like, oh, I don't need to try it out. But consider this. Embargoes typically drop day of. What do you think's easier? Installing the game and trying it out yourself, or booting up YouTube and watching some guy's review? What do you think most people would do? Most people's preference would probably be to be like, well, I've never been able to do this before. I'll just boot it up and try it out myself. Right? The demand for the review just goes down. The demand for the review goes down if there's game trials. 100%. Listen, I am not at all calling their character into question or their integrity into question. I would be, if my brand was thoughtful, lengthy game reviews, I would 100% be like, oh my gosh, this could actually hurt the demand for my product. I put a lot of time into my show opens. I have a Word document open right now in front of me, and it is 7 pages long. 7 pages long. Roughly 3 to 3.5 pages each for each show. So I had 3.5 pages of notes for my opening monologue of, what Xbox in 2023, what does it need to do? I can't imagine the work that SkillUp puts into a review and then having that review get less clicks, less demand because, well, people can try the game out now. That would sting. Because I tell you what, when I put a lot of work into a show open and the show doesn't go well, it freaking stings. Like, I don't know, yesterday, we didn't have a great turnout. I put a lot of work into those shows. Now, I think those videos are going to do fine. I think people are going to start to look at me as like hey, I like hearing what he has to say about Transformers or Diablo and what those live service games need to do. But buddy, it stings like a son of a gun when you put tons of work into something and it doesn't do well. I can't imagine the hours of work that they put into a review and being like, buddy, if a game trial hits, my video is way less in demand because people can try the game out. How many times do they review a free game? Would be a good question. Do they spend a lot of time reviewing free-to-play games, unless it's sponsored? I wouldn't be surprised if there's a low percentage of reviews from guys like that are free-to-play. Why? Because they're probably less in demand. Who needs a review of a free-to-play game? I'll just go try it myself. Also, a trial always gets better with every game update. A review is a static snapshot of the game, half the time without the day one patch. Another good point. Like, let's say you come to a game 2 months after it's come out, and you can't be bothered with going and reading reviews or watching reviews. You're just going to try it out. Well, you get the updated version of the game. So you could watch some guy's review and be like, oh my gosh, it's stuttering, it's hitching. Here's a great one. Here's a really good example. High on Life. High on Life early reviews and early player feedback was what? Stuttering, frame issues. Day one patch fixed all of it. That's a perfect example of how a trial is a better service to the consumer because the consumer tries that game out. Let's say they try out High on Life like a week after it comes out. Oh, this game's great. This game's funny. I'm going to buy this. They could have watched a review that was like, well, it's fun, but it's got a lot of performance issues and stuttering and frame skips. And if you're like me, you're like, that's a skip the minute I hear that. Oh, it doesn't perform well? Oh, it's got frame pacing issues and FPS issues? I'm good. I'm not playing that game. I'm not buying that game. Silent Seraph says, I agree reviews are not about if a game is good as much as it is to inform purchase. That's exactly right. Thank you so much for 4,000 likes over here on the talk. You guys are smashing that button. Make sure you're following. We'll be able to unlock paid, I don't know what they call them over here. Do they call them like a subscription or join? I don't know what they call it. We also have members on YouTube as well. Thank you for the 29 members today. If that hits 50, I have to gift 5. So 21 more, and I got to gift 5 again to say thank you. We already did that once today, and if you got one, congratulations and welcome. Let's set our sights on, I was going to say let's set our sights on 300 likes. We got 300 likes. Thank you guys so much for 300 likes. Such a solid turnout today. I hope you're enjoying the show. My second talk show this afternoon is going to be what Sony needs to do, what PlayStation needs to do in 2023. Our upload today is going to be me reacting to a video of Data is Beautiful, taking a look at the last 20 years of console wars. A really, really cool video. I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys enjoy that. A lot of content today still to come. Still to come. We'll do a members lunch break, yes. That's in about an hour. We're having such a good day today. I want to read Talika's comment from the Discord. Our members-only Discord doesn't have a character limit, so she was able to write quite a bit here. She says, I understand they're getting more into the mobile space, so it might not be focusing on system sales, but for me, I need a reason to actually buy the Xbox. Before this past year, I was not interested in PS5 at all, but games came out that made me go, wait, maybe I do need a PS5. I need to feel that for the Xbox. More specifically, I need a reason to continue my subscription after a price increase. I need their announced games not to flop. I need Fable to actually get out and keep a release date. Oh, get and keep a release date, and it not also to flop. Fable was announced and sealed my choice to go Xbox, but now not seeing it so far, I have no need to have their system at all. So there's some thoughts from one of our members, Talika, saying, I think a lot of very thoughtful things about what does Xbox need to do in 2023. I think it would be tempting to coast if you were Sony. Winning can make you feel a bit too comfortable, so I hope they continue to press forward. Oh yeah, I've got some big swings and things that I think they need to do. Sony's not getting off easy. I know people think I'm a Sony fanboy. Missed this, but no, this community is going strong. I appreciate that. No shot, Lono. Yeah, I'm in both places. If you want to catch me on YouTube, go to YouTube Gaming. Zircadian Imp. Yeah, head on over to Reforge Gaming on YouTube. I stream there every day. A lot of y'all don't know that. A lot of y'all that are like from the Destiny community. So, if there are folks looking for Lono, let them know where to find me. If they're looking for, daily talk shows, I don't cover that game anymore. So if they're looking for that, then tell them to watch, what's his name? The one guy that I like, the only guy that I like from that community who creates Destiny content. A good Gears game would get me thinking about an Xbox. Yeah, Hellblade 2. Good Gears game, yep. Sony's biggest fault, in my opinion, is communication. Well, save that for the Sony show, Shelly. I don't want to start talking about Sony. Yeah, Astacross. Yeah, if you're looking for Destiny content, watch Astacross. I don't do that anymore. I still watch on YouTube. Haven't been in forever. Oh, well, look forward to seeing you over there on YouTube at Reforge Gaming. Hey, Narwaffle, giving me some cake over here on talk. Thanks for the cake, Narwaffle. Thanks for the likes, everybody. One value of Game Pass to counter that a little bit, new gamers, usually younger, have a catalog of games that'll last 4+ years, and that list will only grow. Right, and that's not my concern with my feedback, Brutal. Yeah, that's not my concern. My concern is fostering a culture of purchase. I think Microsoft needs to focus on that. I do. I think that's one of my points today. I'll give you my 5 points, all right? So what does Microsoft need to do in 2023? First, you gotta launch games, big first-party titles, and they need to launch well. The headlines need to be about their quality and not their struggles. Second, I think they need to more heavily focus on the Xbox Series X with respect to saturation. I think the Series S poses a threat to the community as well as this generation long-term. They also need to evolve Game Pass and institute game trials to foster a culture of purchase as opposed to just playing games for nothing. Next, I think the Activision deal needs to go through for them. I don't want it to go through. I am against it because I think the consolidation would be bad, but I think they need that win. And lastly, they need xCloud and Game Pass in more places to establish that their ecosystem is not tied to hardware saturation since they are so behind on that front. That's what I think they need to do. That's my 5 things. And We've been discussing all 5 of those points. J-Main sent a gamepad. Thanks for sending a gamepad over there on the talk. Appreciate you so much. They're failing because they let 343 away with murdering Halo for way too long. In all seriousness, I'm a gamer, period, says Hex. I care for the health of the industry as a whole. I'm not a fanboy of any particular system. Xbox in 2023, Shelly says, they literally just need to be a games publisher and publish games. Like, such a bizarre problem they have. I really struggle to name a true hit. What if they didn't have BGS? Wild. What a point. Think about that for a second. If they didn't have Bethesda, how thin would 2023 be? They bought Bethesda. Bethesda was already working on those games. Bethesda was already working on Redfall and Starfield. So those aren't born in the fires of Microsoft's genius or something. Like, those were basically purchased properties. So if they didn't have Bethesda, what in the world would you be getting next year? And now you know why they bought BGS. That's right. That's right. On God, with a 3-month milestone as a member. Welcome back. Thanks for renewing. If they didn't buy Bethesda, there's no way Forza wouldn't be out yet. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. If they didn't have BGS, they would have released Forza Motorsport as a holiday title, I bet. It would be extremely thin. Xbox needs a big year because Sony absolutely crushed it last year, in my opinion. Oh, I agree with that. Would it be thin? Do we really know that? Or is it an assumption because they aren't saying anything? Mo, what titles do you think they're holding under their hat for 2023? Tell me. Make a prediction. You like making predictions. What do they got? What are they holding under their hat for 2023? What other... I'm talking first party. Don't quote me some articles like, there are 44 games coming to Game Pass in 2023. No. No. They added a ton of games to Game Pass this year. That's not what I'm talking about. What first party titles do you think Microsoft's like keeping the cards close to their chest right now for 2023? What? Hellblade 2? Gear 6? A sequel to Sea of Thieves? Like, what could they possibly be holding under their hat? If they didn't have Bethesda, what are we looking at? Yeah, Fable? Fable ain't coming out next year, if any of the reports. You think State of Decay is a sleeper? Gears isn't coming yet? Yeah, Gears isn't coming. I agree with that. I don't think Gears is coming. They went nose down like a year ago to switch everything to Unreal 5. It feels like two of your points are kind of mutually exclusive. Pushing to firm up the Series X install base and pushing Game Pass on televisions and PCs. My question would be, can they do both? Yes, they sound mutually exclusive, but they're not, and here's why. I gave you a flyover. When I said that they need to focus on the Series X saturation, I was basically saying that over the S. Like, they need to focus on creating a bigger gap. There needs to be more Series X's in circulation than the Series S. They need to actually ramp down on Series S distribution and ramp up X. But I also think, to all of the people that they can't get to buy a console, they need to increase the ecosystem's reach with xCloud and Game Pass landing on places like the Samsung television and likewise. Those aren't mutually exclusive because there are people that want the hardware and there are people that don't. And you get to hit both of those demographics. Yo, what's good, Donovan? How are you? Hellblade 2 and Forza, maybe State of Decay 3. Hellblade 2's not coming before 2024. Yeah, I don't think you're getting Hellblade 2 next year. I don't think you're getting Gears 6 next year. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we get a Halo BR before we get those games. Microsoft needs to drop policies like the 18-month contractual work, forcing studios to use some unfamiliar engines, putting proper people into leadership, and that want amazing games. Yeah, I mean, I had my video about Fable, and I got a lot of heat from Xbox fans in the comments that were like, they're not forcing everybody to use, in-house engines. There's plenty of devs that aren't being forced to do that, right? And my issue with that, was we're not saying they're going to do that with every single developer. Like, that wasn't my argumentation. My argumentation was they're doing this with some of their developers, and it isn't going well, right? Like, it's more about that than anything. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to say that, like, oh, we did get a coffee order today about 20 minutes ago. Christy Axis bought the Best of Both Worlds bundle, a light roast and a dark roast. Thank you so much. Who else wants to order some Reforge Roast coffee today? Who else wants to become a member? Round us out to 30 at least. That 29's ugly. Hey, man, I ordered coffee. Is that you? I don't know. This was Christy Axis. So Madison, if you ordered it, I'm not seeing an order from you. Maybe it hasn't come through. Hellblade 2 might come next year. Also, could be ready as well. Compulsion could also be ready, so who knows? Like, I'm not trying to be a downer, but that was such a well-made point that, like, if they didn't have Bethesda Game Studios, then holy moly would their year be thin. Like, my gosh. How long does it take their studios to build games? That's the concern. I have no idea who this is. Turn off invites. Decline. Somebody, like, asked me to join them live. That, just for some feedback to people who stream on the talk, that's my least favorite thing. Like, that's my least favorite thing. To go and watch somebody that I enjoy watching and they're sharing the screen with some other person. Oh gosh, I don't like that. I received my Frickmas today. Nah is such an intelligent response. Master just said nah. Xbox has no games that they didn't buy out. There's zero reason to own an Xbox, and Game Pass isn't enough to pay the bills. Microsoft's offering quantity over quality. You do know most of the studios have released games, but not exclusive. Like, wait, what are you talking about? What Xbox-owned studios are out here releasing multi-plat? What are you talking about? New games would be thin, says Brutal Gear, but Microsoft is building infrastructure to effectively monetize the aftermarket purchases. In what way, Brutal? What are you referring to? That's a good point. Forspoken isn't a PlayStation exclusive. Wait, what? How is it not a PlayStation exclusive? Isn't it like a year? Isn't it timed? I want to know, other than Forza and Halo, what does Microsoft release that they didn't buy instead of build? Forspoken is launching day one on PC. Oh, but that doesn't mean it's not exclusive. So is Halo Infinite not exclusive? Like, come on, you guys know that's not the. No, you're gonna get me wound up about being pedantic. No one who says exclusive, okay, anymore is meaning literally nowhere but that console. Like, console and PC can still be an exclusive. For frick's sake, are you really going to try to tell me that Halo Infinite is not an exclusive title? Come on. That's an unnecessary qualifier, and then it's confusing. We know that when we talk about Forspoken or we talk about Halo, those are exclusive titles. Come on now. Come on. That's an unnecessary. You can be technically correct while simultaneously being wrong and confusing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that exclusive means what it used to mean, because the ecosystems are bigger than just the consoles these days. You know, like, Sony's made it clear their live service games are going to be day and date on PC and Sony. I actually think they should be everywhere. That's my personal opinion. I should add that to my show open for that one. Hang on a second. Launch live service games. Put them on all platforms. That's going to be my hot take in that talk show. Yo, my man Deathside hitting a 13-month membership milestone. You guys have been going at it for a while, loving the talk. Thank you very, very much. If you are new and tuning in for the first time ever, this is Reforge Gaming, a daily talk show where we break down video game subjects, news, and opinions. And if you're enjoying the show, smash that like button, hit subscribe so you can talk in my chat. Consider becoming a member. If you've never done a membership on YouTube, try me out for a month. It's $5. Sometimes YouTube gives you a discount on your first membership. It'll get you into members-only streams as well as my members-only Discord. We've got exciting things coming up for members like watch parties of movies and maybe a triple-header horror weekend. Rip my comment. All right, what'd you say? I'm not trying to ignore anybody. What did you say? Man, I need that feature that the other platform. Did he read my comment or just bad timing this whole show for me? Homie, there are so many people talking in chat. If WoW comes to Game Pass and consoles, that would make a good year. Yeah. That would require... That's one of my points. I think Microsoft needs the Activision deal to go through. Right? The Xbox Activision deal needs to go through. And if that goes through and they're able to put WoW on Game Pass, that's a big win. That's a big win. But there's a lot of ifs attached to that, is there not? There's a lot of ifs. Brutal says, I'm referring to used games. GameStop right now is profiting on the last-gen aftermarket sales. In 10 years, Series S games will be purchased digitally or subscribed, not purchase used games. Brutal, I am really struggling to connect the dots here. What is GameStop selling used markets? Oh, you're saying that market will shift in 10 years. Series S games will be purchased digitally or subscribed, not purchase used games. Why are you saying that that's what the... I don't understand what you're saying. Why is the Series S going to supplant an aftermarket used sale market? That doesn't make any sense. As beloved as WoW is, would the console people getting a game be happy with WoW? I mean, it's old, right? Like, it's not exactly a next-gen title. It's also mouse and keyboard. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the optics. I think it's the optics of having WoW on Game Pass. It would look like a big win. Would it necessarily... I'll tell you this. WoW has controller support as well. Thank you for saying that. I was meaning to say that. I'll tell you this much. If WoW came to Game Pass, you would get a ton of new Game Pass subscribers. One of the biggest... That's like one of the most popular games in the world. One of the most popular games in the world. I mean, that'd be pretty tectonic to suddenly own WoW and to throw it on Game Pass. He's talking about the fact that the Series S does not allow you to buy a physical disc. The Series S, being the leader for Microsoft, supplants the used market because it's all digital. Does it supplant the used market, or does it make the console more annoying? Let me do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say it. Sony's already solved that problem. Allegedly. They've allegedly already solved that problem. External disk drive. That is getting great reviews and feedback. So if you have the digital version. So apparently Sony doesn't see that as an issue. Like, oh, we need to supplant the used market. So the S not being able to take part in the used market, how is that good? I would think that's probably a bad thing for the consumers that own it. Like Xbox is doing with Undead Labs, Double Fine, Compulsion Games, and in Exile. I'm not sure what you're arguing, Master Jazz. I played some great first-party Xbox games on PC. Flight Sim, Age of Empires 4, Gears Tactics, Grounded. Gears Tactics is awesome. If you like strategy tactics games, it's a must-play. Games are 70% bought digitally today. Yeah, but that I don't know. I think that metric is exaggerated because there's so many digital games. You have to look at just the games that have both and not include all the games that are digital only. WoW only has 1.1 to 2 million subs. It's not the juggernaut that it once was. I don't know. I feel like if you brought WoW to Game Pass, that would be pretty big. Putting WoW on Game Pass for free, asterisks, would be worse than removing COD from PlayStation. They would just lose so much money and it would make no sense. No, it wouldn't be on PC Game Pass, Paul. They wouldn't be that stupid. They would just put it on Xbox Game Pass. That would not hurt their subscription funnel at all. You wouldn't have this massive exodus. Be like, well, I'm going to go get Game Pass instead. That's not true. You would need a separate sub to WoW and Game Pass to play it? No. If the Xbox Activision deal goes through, I could 100% see them throwing WoW on Xbox Game Pass only. They wouldn't have free WoW subs on Game Pass either. The expansions would release on Game Pass, but you'd still pay the WoW sub? No, I don't think so. I think they would take that right on the chin. They would take that right on the chin. They want to get Call of Duty and put Call of Duty on Game Pass, brother. Like, think about the sales that they're willing to sacrifice there. Think about the quantity of sales they're sacrificing with Starfield, and you think that they're worried about that? The base games and the expansions for sure. So much lost revenue. I don't know. I don't see it. Call of Duty isn't $200 a year. I mean, you're making a good point. You're making a good point. Like, that is a lot of subscription dollars thrown away, but you have to consider something. If it's just in the console market, are they not feeding the monster they created? What do you think these people would say? Oh yeah, you get all the Game Pass, you get all the WoW base game and the expansions, no problem on Game Pass. And then I just realized I didn't turn those lights on today. That's why the autofocus is working better. I wonder. Well, that's obnoxious. It's blinded myself. Put WoW on Game Pass Premium? Yeah, maybe like Game Pass Ultimate or something. Kids and families love Game Pass. I just find people's outrage to Game Pass funny. I don't know who's outraged at Game Pass. The casual that buys COD every year, plus monthly battle passes and micros on micros, and they're willing to bite that bullet. A WoW sub would 100% be tied to Game Pass console if it becomes a thing. They don't even give us the DLC for their first-party games, so we won't get the WoW expansions either. The PC players will keep playing. The people on Xbox that can't play now would definitely jump in. The player base you probably double. Yeah, I feel like the strategy would be you get them to get into the game through Game Pass, and then you sell them the expansions and everything else. COD on Game Pass isn't giving you battle passes and expansions. I could see it from both sides. I could see people saying that's so much subscription revenue that they're not going to get on WoW by putting on Game Pass. I can see that side. But I can also see you make the barrier of entry into WoW incredibly easy. You get tons of people to suddenly sign up for Game Pass, and then you make sure that they have to buy the expansions and all of the extras. I don't know. WoW's monetization structure might not square with that because the subscription, the monthly subscription revenue is primo. Soon Game Pass subscribers won't be able to say no to whatever Microsoft says Game Pass is. There's a whole generation of people who have never purchased a game. They only have Game Pass. I don't know. There you go, assuming again. Mo, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, to act like Game Pass is not fostering a community or a consumer base that is that's not buying games. I don't know, bro. I don't know. That seems really short-sighted to be like, nah, it's not doing that. You don't think out of 25 million people on Game Pass, there's not a good portion of them that are just like, that are buying less games maybe than they used to? Wouldn't Game Pass be more than WoW? Plus they'd be getting all those games on Game Pass to play on the cloud. Why can't it be both? They could put the base game WoW for free on Game Pass, and there could be a separate subscription like ESO on console, and they still have to buy expansions and optional micros. I personally know people who have Xbox and have never purchased a game on the platform. They only have Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, Mo, think about it. There are people in my chat all the time defending the Series S. And how do they defend it? How? They say it's just a Game Pass machine. Those people don't care about performance. They don't care about quality. It's a Game Pass machine. And the Series S is in greater saturation in the market than the Series X. So it stands to reason that it's conjecture and it's presumption, but it's also likely to be true. It doesn't sound out of left field that the Series S has saturated the market more effectively than the Series X. And those people make up a great portion of the Game Pass subscribers. And that's how they treat the ecosystem. It's a Game Pass machine. Microsoft, to them, is Game Pass. Like, there's got to be people in the 25 million Game Pass subscribers that treat it that way. Let's just say it's 5 million of them. Let's just say 5 million people essentially treat Game Pass like that's the ecosystem. They don't buy games. They use Game Pass to just try games, test games out, and tell their kids, yeah, play games there. I'm not buying you games every month. I have Game Pass and I still buy games regularly. Right, that's what I'm saying. Out of 25 million Game Pass subscribers, 20 million of them are still buying games regularly. But if just 5 million of them are not, that's, again, that can grow and you can continue to foster that. That's why I said what Xbox in 2023 needs to do is foster a culture of spending. I think they need to do that. That's obviously my opinion. My gray name looks puke. Oh, were you a gifted Phantom? Nobody can click on your name and gift you directly. We need that feature frickin' pronto. Wouldn't some of those people who don't buy many games still be paying more? I would think most people only buy 2 games a year, so they pay more than they normally would spend. Just wondering. No one cares about your opinion. It's just wrong. Okay. 2,000 views on this video. 300 some odd likes. 443 people watching, and a partridge in a pear tree. If you can fit all that in your pipe, try and smoke it. They also lose access to all their games if they ever choose to cancel their sub. Look at what happened with People Can Fly with Game Pass. It's not always a good thing. Nobody bought the game because of Game Pass. How does what you're saying negate the fact that there are people who are reliant on Game Pass are at a complete mercy of whatever Microsoft says Game Pass is? Well, and I said that in my show open. I said they need to cement the identity of Game Pass. What is it? Because Microsoft's recent dialogue about it has been, it's only going to be 15% of our annual revenue. There are going to be games that don't hit Game Pass. Homie, their dialogue about Game Pass kind of shifted recently. It did. It kind of shifted recently. Summary available? I'll give you one. Well, Eknor just paid for it. He just gave 5 gifted members. He just did it. That's going to be 34. That's my man right there. Taking care of people. CMA, J-Twigs, my man Brody. That's an OG homie right there. Good to see you, Brody. Palm and Bayou Bengal, you guys all just got gifted a membership from Eknor. Say thanks to Eknor for that. You can now go into my members-only streams and my members-only Discord for the next month. If you want to pick up the membership on your own, you can upgrade it to a Member Plus for $1. And then you'll be taking care of your membership on your own from here on out. Stop bringing up Square screwed people can fly. Yeah, but Game Pass didn't help them. It's not a one size fits all solution is the only point. Yeah, Stalker 2's not canceled. Yeah, here's a great stat in the realm of this subject. Since the PlayStation 5 launched, over 468 million units of software have been sold. The PS5 has an attach rate of 24 per console. Staggering numbers. PlayStation equals sales. This is why Xbox needs to foster a culture of spending in 2023. That is a staggering number. What's an attach rate? It means the average person who bought a PS5 bought games and bought a lot of them. Not necessarily full priced. Some of those games could be on sale. Some of those games could be discounted, whatever. That's still an incredible attach rate. If those numbers are accurate, that's frickin' bonkers. And what have we been saying? We've been saying that. We've been saying Sony has that fostered ecosystem and culture of purchase. People buy games on that platform. It's just what they've fostered. I think Xbox needs to focus on that in 2023. I think they overemphasized Game Pass in their marketing. Think about something that Xbox has done over the years that has hurt them and set them back. Have they delivered bad hardware? No. Not necessarily. Have they delivered some bad games? Sure. But overall, if you really break it down, what's one of the biggest cannon shots to the side of the boat that Microsoft always kind of manages to do? They overshoot in their marketing. They did it with the Xbox One and the Kinect and Always Online, and I think they've done it again. Like, I think they spent too much time emphasizing Game Pass. Take bias out of the equation. Forget that you're pro Xbox. Forget that you think I'm anti Xbox, because I'm not, okay? They revealed just this year that Game Pass is only going to make up 15% of their annual gaming division revenue, and they feel they've already hit saturation on console. But the 2 years leading up to now, that's been the number one piece of their marketing. Day and date on Game Pass. Day and date on Game Pass. Play it day and date on Game Pass. So, I think they have overstated and over-focused on Game Pass. They have made Game Pass synonymous, in some people's minds, with their ecosystem. 50 million consoles in, 50 million user base or whatever. What was the number? 25 million people are on Game Pass out of what? Like 50? What's the 50 million number? I always forget that number. There's a 50 million number and I can't remember what it is. It's not... Is it the consoles in circulation or... Fuzzy says these numbers aren't accurate. Console sales? Is it 50 million? That can't be Series X and S. Gold subscribers probably. Yo, Toasty Buns with a gifted member. Gonna take us to 35. 15 more, and I gotta give 5. Richard White got that one. It's not much, but have a membership on me. Hey, man, that's a lot. That's a big deal to gift a member to somebody else. If you guys are ever considered doing a super chat, $5 instead of giving me a $5 super chat, gift a member for $5. In the CMA stuff, you take what Microsoft says as fact, but when Sony was looking weak in their statement, rationalize it was a chess move. When did I say that? When did I rationalize Sony looking weak as a chess move? When did I do that? When? And why should I not take Microsoft's stats as fact? Should I assume they're lying? Are you a big fan of liars? Like, is that you're like, no, man, taking what Microsoft says is fact. They're a bunch of liars. What? What's your point? PlayStation Plus is superior service. Well, I don't want to talk about that. What does Xbox need to do in 2023 that isn't release games? Are we saying all their other venues are solid? They definitely communicate better than Sony and talk more. Did you take Sony's as a fact? Did I take what from Sony as a fact? What did Sony say that I didn't take as a fact? Jim Ryan came out and contradicted himself? Where? What did he say that contradicted himself? Very interested. I like how PS Studios work together to make great games, like God of War 2018 took inspiration from Last of Us and Uncharted. If quality of Bethesda games remains the same, then what's the point of buying? I actually think Starfield can be a defining game. I think it can be a defining game for Xbox. Exclusives should not be included in Game Pass because it'll hurt their sales for first-party games. Because they said some stuff, that said Game Pass was superior and they couldn't compete with Game Pass. Yes, and when you look at the comments that he was making when he made them, and you look at what he was actually comparing, he was comparing their premium adoptions. And to be quite honest, I've said this, and I'm going to say this in my Sony stream this afternoon. I love that you're trying to accuse me of having, I guess, a lack of accuracy, integrity, or fairness. But this afternoon in my Sony stream, I'm going to talk about how there's a clear need to make PS Plus better and to get better adoption rates because they lost a lot of people when they went through their overhaul. And I think some of it's because of how it's set up. And I don't think it's a great offering when you look at it. Once you understand it, it's a great offering. But it's set up very poorly. So, yeah, PS Plus is in many ways at the higher levels not doing as well as Game Pass. Game Pass had really good adoption. Oh, you also have to consider the fact that when Jim Ryan said those things, that was before Microsoft came out and said, we're only at 25 million and we've hit saturation on console. Jim Ryan was assuming they were at about 29 million because the going numbers of growth for Game Pass were very healthy, and they stopped. His presumption was based off of their growth patterns. They were at 20 million and they were at 25. They're probably like 29 million right now. And Microsoft comes out and is like, no, we're at 25 million still, and we've hit saturation on console. So what he said was what all of us were assuming. I was presuming the same thing. Game Pass is doing well. Game Pass is growing. I've got videos on my channel where I talked about how Microsoft's a sleeping giant, man. Game Pass is the future of that platform. That's where they want all their games. And then the truth comes out. Nope. Growth has already slowed. Growth has already slowed for it. That was when they had games. Of course, they stopped this year. No one's... Okay. You understand that when I brought that up, I wasn't indicting Game Pass. I was telling you why he said what he said. You're moving the goalpost because you accused me of like lacking in fairness and having integrity, like I wasn't covering Sony in the same way I'm covering Xbox. I love when people try to insinuate that. It makes me very happy. And now that argumentation point's been smacked down, you want to move the goalposts and talk about like, well, Game Pass slowed down because they didn't have any games this year. That's not what you were talking about when you insinuated that I was lacking in honesty and fairness in my coverage. So substantiate your claim or, I don't know, move on. PS Plus Extra is a great value. It has enough games to more than justify its price. Right, when they overhauled PS Plus, they lost a lot of people. PS Plus didn't do that well through that change. No, I'm saying it's nuance that's not being afforded to one side. You haven't substantiated the nuance that's not being afforded to one side. What nuance do I need to afford to Microsoft? What have I said that hasn't either directly quoted them or accurately represented what's been stated about them? Like, what am I not affording Microsoft? How am I not affording them the nuance that I'm affording Sony? You've not substantiated that. Xbox needs to birth an original, iconic character. They don't have any remarkable characters to associate to the brand. Yo, Dodevas with 12 months. That's a nice milestone. Welcome back. That's what they need in 2023. Well, yeah, because they don't really have Master Chief anymore. Senua could be that character. Hey, Dodevas says, let's push that number a little bit farther, taking us to 40 members for the day with 5 gifted memberships. It went to The Great Stambino, Whiskey Chris, Phil Doe, Bo Baggins, Mark, and Grant Schaefer. You guys all got a membership. There's flickering going on. Oh. I was like, what is happening? We don't know Game Pass numbers. They gave us 25 million beginning of this year, but they only release numbers once a year. No, they responded in an official document and talked about the number that they have. Why would Microsoft have to create a purchasing climate when the sub is literally the new model? It's like telling Netflix to sell DVDs. Yo, what's good, Laugh Addict? Haven't seen you in a while. Okay, the reason that I think they need to foster a purchasing climate, and I love that you reference Netflix. That's perfect for my point. They need to foster a purchasing ecosystem and a purchasing culture because they've already hit sub-saturation on console. So they need to leverage Game Pass in another way. Officially, Xbox announced 25 million Game Pass subs on 1/22. PlayStation told the FTC it's at 29 million without PC users just last November. Yes, and in statements that followed that, Microsoft stated in documentation to the regulators that they're at 25 million approximately, and they've hit saturation on console, and that Game Pass will amount to 15% of their annual revenue for the gaming division. We've covered this. Dog sitting and the internet connection here is kind of booty. Oh, that's unfortunate. These gifted members, how did Phantom Phoenix not get one? Good exclusives are what brings people to the platform, not third-party indie games on Game Pass. Now great exclusive titles on Xbox is the only way. Retreading facts that we've covered is exhausting. Companies need to just try to exponentially and infinitely grow year to year outside of the necessary amount of inflation. You can't grow forever, and you shouldn't put yourself in a position where you have no choice but to. Lono, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's as dire as you think. I didn't say that it was dire. If Microsoft would like to cement themselves... Oh my gosh, Risick. Holy frick. I gotta turn alerts off for that. That one's too big. Jiminy frickin' Christmas. This man just gifted 20 members to the community. This guy's been dropping bombs on the chat, dude. I gotta give 5 more now. That's a big one. Hopefully Phantom Phoenix gets picked up in here. I'm seeing names that I recognize. False Idol, Elements 86, Victor, The Bearded Twit, Pilksuck, Nino, Blue, R Voids, We Bleed Green, Austin Yount, Stofeno, Mambavibez. No, I'm sorry. Mamba Vibes. I'm really sorry about that. That was truly terrible. Rest in peace, Kobe. Mamba Vibes. Brett M. Silver Surfer. Mr. Mayhem. Hataki. Krillin Time. Cute. Jimin. Ian. Pac-Man on a bike. Welcome on in. Bruh on the Mamba Vibes pronunciation. This guy's like, this is white man, not how to say Mamba Vibes. Another 10 gifted coming in from my man Dodevas. Dodevas. That was such a train wreck. You should probably go ahead and delete this stream. Cedo Agro, Matthew Crab, Justin Livermore, Kernans, Sebastian, Zach Stovey, Taylor McIntyre, Galliant. Hey, Galliant, good to see you. Panic Oregon. You guys all got gifted members. That's on the doorstep of another. If it hits 75, I got to gift 10. When do we see soccer gameplay? I believe they're doing a gameplay reveal today. A 20 spot from Risick. Everyone have a great new year. Keep up the great work. So generous, Risick. Thank you so much. Demon Eye says, the train is rolling. Lono, what do you think about this? Is Brutal. Games sold are Series S are worth more to Microsoft than games sold on the PS5 to Sony, because PS5 discs can be sold used. Series S games cannot be sold used. Do you honestly think, with the quantity of sales, the typical commercial success of PlayStation titles, do you think they're threatened by used sales? I don't think that's a threat to them at all. Yo, Demon Eyes hitting a 12-month milestone and a member plus, says, loving the gifted. Thank you so much. Where's that put us? Genuinely curious. Genuinely curious. Let me see if any more coffee orders have come through. Okay, no more coffee orders have come through. We're pushing to 2,500 for the next big milestone. That thumbnail for the afternoon video looks like it turned out great, Creature. Yo, we're at 2,200. 2,212. We hit 2,200 members. Tons of new subs today. Thank you guys so much for hitting the subscribe button. Subscribing is free. Membership is a little extra. It's $5, but it gets you into lots of extra content. And our members-only Discord. If you got gifted a member and you enjoy that content for the next 30 days, please consider picking up the membership on your own. You can even upgrade right now to Member Plus for $1. For $1, you can upgrade and take care of the membership on your own. Taki Kakashi says, Lono Pog. There you go. Hey, Lono in chat, not to derail, but I want to take a moment and say how happy I am to see how the hard work and passion you have and your chat and your craft shows over the last year. Awesome show. Hey, Imori, that's very kind. Oh, my gosh. 5 from Legend Status and 5 from Dark Taco. That takes us to 80, which means I owe you guys 10. Another 20 and I owe you 15. Gee-many frickin' Christmas. 81? Why would it be 81? We didn't get... No, renewals don't go over there. Those are new. Those are new. We have so many members. If I counted renewals, it wouldn't be very fair. Yeah, it doesn't start for 2 hours. 10,000 people waiting. Gee-many Christmas. Maybe we should do a random watch-along. We're gonna be neck deep in our second show, though. What Sony needs to do next year. Lona, maybe not threatened, but Microsoft is setting up a value stream to capture cheap gamers' money, pulling it from a used market to a subscription market. It's like, I like Sony's model personally. I just don't think I see that, Brutal. I don't think I see the Series S as being some massive value add in that way. The little bunch, I'm sorry I missed this over on the talk, says, so much truth. PS Plus isn't that good, and I'm trying the new tier. We need better free games, too, on PS Plus. Check out my show this afternoon. I'll be doing a second show. You can also watch on YouTube at Reforge Gaming if you prefer. Check out my second show this afternoon. I'll be talking about that, what Sony needs to do in 2023. Lono, you're just scared to do Just Dance every month. If we hit 3,000 members, I have to do another Just Dance stream. 2,500 members, and we have to do a triple header horror weekend where my wife and I play through a horror game on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You already hit 2,000 members, which is a Star Wars watch party. So we already did one Star Wars watch party. You can always go back as a member and watch that VOD. You just queue up the VOD. I tell you when to press play on your Star Wars Episode 1, and you can we watch along with us, and we're bantering with the movie as you're watching it. And we're going to do that with Star Wars Episode 2 in January. So make sure you're in the members-only Discord, or you'll miss how to take part in that when we do that. Same thing with members-only streams every day and Friday night streams with my wife. Like, a really great way to not miss out on that stuff is to get into our members-only Discord. Christopher Wright with a $10 tip through Super Chat. I've been thinking in the years to come, Microsoft stops making consoles and lets Sony own the console market, and Microsoft becomes a publisher. So now they're everywhere. Yeah, we had people make that prediction a while ago, saying that they think Microsoft just wants to be a publisher long term. Hey, Lono, good to see your channel doing so well. Makes me happy. Thank you. Thank you. This week we dipped a little bit, but I think that's just the last week of the year. There's people traveling and stuff, so it's good to have a strong bounce back today. Thank you guys for helping with that. It was I was a little like, oh my gosh, dude, the end of the year is going to be a bummer. There's nothing happening. There's nothing to talk about. So it's really fun today this was just my opinion. I would much rather do opinion pieces than to be beholden to the news cycle. You know what I mean? Yeah. Creature says, pull you out to pay your own tears. I wasn't in tears yesterday. I was annoyed. There's nothing worse than going live and watching a video perform so terribly. It's like, oh my gosh, that was a lot of work and effort. I was driving yesterday, so I couldn't be here. Yeah, yesterday was awkward because we went with straight opinion. And I was like, man, where is everybody? And Creature's like, it's the last week of the year, bro. He's like, everybody's doing something, and it ain't YouTube. So, yo, what's good, Dan23? I'm here basically every stream. Those of you that are here every day, you are loved and appreciated. Thank you very, very much. We would really start to lean in more to videos that are like, hey, what does Starfield need to do with progression? What does, Diablo 4 need to do with loot longevity? Like, those are really fun debates. I'd rather do that than be beholden to the news cycle. You know what I mean? Like, come and join a discussion and have opinion sharing and dialogue and not be like, well, what happened in the news? You know what I mean? Hey, there's another order of coffee, a bag of Frickmas, and 2 dark roasts to Realm Rex. Thank you very much, Realm Rex, for ordering some Reforge roast. Okay, I owe you guys 10 members. You're always lurking. I appreciate the people that heavy lurk, man. I really, really do. All right, here's the 10 members that I owe you. Because every 25 members, I have to gift 5, and you guys blasted past 50 and 75. Here comes my 10. I don't add my 10 to this total, so it's easier to track every 25. It's a little bit easier. There you go. There's my 10. That's a thank you and a pay it forward. That's a thank you to all of the new members, all of the viewers, and all the people hanging out today. I love seeing names that I recognize, like Jamesy Boy, Jay Circo, or Jai Circo, Strider Prime. Hey, there's Kill Bill, Glizzy Gladiator, The Boy, Logan, Presley, Gravity, Master, Reliant XS, and SR. There you go. Welcome on in, everybody that just got a membership. Pushing our way now to 2,300 members. 2,500 being the next big goal. We're getting close to 2,300. We just passed 2,200, and we now probably 2,230 members roughly. Yeah, still no Phantom Phoenix, man. Phantom, do you have gifted members turned on? You might want to make sure that's toggled. I think people are trying to help you out. Thanks for using the glasses command, Fonzo. If you guys are ever curious about the glasses I'm wearing or the shirt I'm wearing, we do have sponsors. This one's from 80s Tees. These are from Gamer Advantage, and it does support me if you use my code on their sites. Thanks for the membership, says Mr. Mayhem. You guys are awesome. Good to see you, Mr. Mayhem. Good to see you getting a purple badge off of a gifted membership. That means you're here on the regular. Corey says, I don't think that Microsoft can sustain their platform on the cheap gamer. It means that they don't have people who will support the platform. The service proves that it can't exist without the platform. Chile Trade Commission just approved the ABK deal. Word is Japan's about to approve too. I think their major potential blocks and barriers are the FTC and the EU. Lono and a Reforge crew. Yo, what's good, Lazaro? Just my take on this whole thing. Mirroring what most have said. Games are needed, number one. I haven't gotten an Xbox because I don't see a reason for it. Yeah, that's been the number one piece of feedback, the number one piece of feedback. Yeah, also China. Yeah, China has to approve it. China, the EU, and the FTC, I think, are the biggest barriers to the Xbox Activision deal going through. So, I bought a Series X to play my 360 games. Yeah, the backwards compatibility is certainly a nice value. It is. That forces us to look into the culture and where it's going financially. In the next 10 years, do you think people will be more or less confident in their purchasing power? I literally will never buy an Xbox. I own a PC, says Wheezy. And that's why one of my points this morning, Wheezy, one of the things that I think Xbox in 2023, what they need to do, I think they need to further push xCloud and Game Pass into more places so that their ecosystem can grow. I think third parties could look at their ecosystem size and say, it doesn't matter what their hardware saturation is. We're not dependent on that. We're not dependent on that. We can launch a game on that ecosystem and look how freaking massive it is. You know? I think that's the win. Is God of War available on PC? God of War 2018 is. Ragnarok will be there. I think Ragnarok will land on PC first quarter of 2024. First quarter or first half of 2024. I think they'll put Ragnarok on PS Plus the holiday season next year. And then first half of 2024, Ragnarok will land on PC. I think that's going to be the rhythm. The rhythm will be big name launch titles like Spider-Man 2. Launch, tons of sales. A year later, they'll kick it to PS Plus. A couple months after that, a quarter later, 3 months later, it'll land on PC. Because I don't think it's going to, Mo's saying next year, I don't think so. I think they're going to wait about a year to put it on PS Plus, and then they want to let it sit on PS Plus for a little while before they kick it to PC. And the reason that I don't think it's going to be next year is we have it on good authority that the fastest it will ever happen is like 12 to 13 months, which would make it really hard for Ragnarok to land next year. It would have to land in November or December, which would cannibalize or hurt Spider-Man 2. It would take the focus off of that, which it wouldn't necessarily hurt the launch sales, but it would be a marketing. They don't do that. They like to market kind of like one thing at a time. Like they market Tilu Part 1 Remake, and then when that thing launched, then they started heavily marketing God of War. They don't like to step on each other's toes. Forbidden West will set the standard for the games. Yeah, Forbidden West will probably land on PS Plus early next year. And then, a couple months later, 3 months later, you could probably see Horizon Forbidden West on PC by the end of next year sometime. If they've already started working on it. That would be the question. Have they already started working on porting it? I think that the hardware is limiting the places where Game Pass can go. I think that Microsoft cannot reach the peak of Game Pass saturation without having to drop the hardware. Why? Game Pass is going to be on a Samsung television next year, or it already is. What do you mean? I agree, Train says over on the talk. I like the middle tier on PS Plus. I think that's the best value. Games that are only available on PlayStation is what's selling PlayStation. Xbox needs to learn from this. Nintendo will die if there are no exclusives. Yeah, I don't know. Watch that video this afternoon. Nintendo Switch. Woo! That market saturation that'll give you a nosebleed. I play 3 to 4 games on Xbox, says Zathos. I got it because that's what my friends have. Game Pass was a selling point, but not a big one. I think the saturation is due to what are my friends and clan playing on. 8th best-selling game didn't do too hot. Do you listen to yourself? Wait, what game? Forbidden West didn't do too hot? Yeah, how did it not do too hot? Did you watch my gaming year in numbers video, Mo? Horizon Forbidden West was on the top of like every. It was included in the top charts everywhere. It did great everywhere. What do you mean? It did fantastic commercially. Just because YouTubers stopped talking about it and it didn't win any of Keeley's awards doesn't mean anything. I did something similar. I had a PS4 Pro and didn't upgrade to a PS5 or a Series X. I upgraded to a Series S. Most everyone is shifting how they buy games compared to 10 years ago. Did you get sales numbers like God of War Ragnarok? I don't understand the point. So did a movie not do too well if you want to compare it to like an Avengers movie or something? Like, sure, God of War Ragnarok had massive record-breaking commercial success. That doesn't mean that Forbidden West didn't do too well. Been a long time since I've been here. Can I get a too long didn't read? Big Matt G, I'll give you a too long didn't read. You asked nicely. All right. You can always rewind, by the way. If I'm in the middle of a rant and you'd like to get caught up, you can always rewind and watch the first 8 minutes of the video. You could put it on like a playback speed of like 1.5. I'm pretty easy to understand even at the faster speeds, but I'll give you a too long didn't read. Xbox in 2023 needs to do these things. I outlined 5 things. The first thing I said was they need to launch games. They don't just need to launch games. They need to be timely and they need to be polished. You can't have any bad launches. That would be terrible for them. Second, I think they need to shift focus to Xbox Series X distribution and ramp down on the Series S to get ready for a mid-gen upgrade, an Xbox Series X Pro or something to that effect. They need to cement the future of Game Pass, both with an identity of what exactly can you expect from it, since their recent commentary has downplayed it a little bit as far as its viability, profitability, and exactly how many games you're going to be getting. Also, I think they need to foster a purchasing culture with Game Pass by doing game trials. When they have to raise the price of Game Pass, I think you add game trials and you couch it in the way of these are games that are not on Game Pass, but we're adding them as trials so that people can start to foster that purchasing ecosystem of you try out games and then you buy them. I think they need the Activision deal to go through. I don't want it to go through. I'm against it. I think that level of tech consolidation is bad for consumers, as we've seen evidenced with cell phone companies and internet service providers. We don't benefit when these big companies gobble each other up, but I'm against it. But I also think it needs to go through. Like, if the gaming division of Xbox is successful, they need that to go through. As it was serendipitously pointed out by somebody today, if they didn't have Bethesda, they wouldn't have very many games to launch next year. Like, 2 of their big ones wouldn't be there. Lastly, I think they need to establish their cloud and Game Pass ecosystem in more places like TVs, because I think that will make their ecosystem more winsome to third-party developers to be like, hey, our ecosystem is huge. Realm Rex, I called that one out, Creature. I have webmail open now. I decided to open it because we had the Realm Rex one, we had the other one from Christie Axis. Yeah, I just decided to open up webmail. Thank you. So those are my 5 things that they need to do. Lono, you have to be able to sell your game and have a service that makes the game available. You can't sell a game on your dedicated platform that people get from the service. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, Corey. If you push only the service, you lose the people who would buy the game but not subscribe to your service. Again, I'm not sure the point that you're making, Corey. I'm having a hard time connecting the dots. Horizon has sold more than Fallout 4. I would argue successful commercially. I wish we lived in that alternate universe where Nintendo released next-gen games and consoles. I would love a next-gen Switch. Oh my gosh, would I love a next-gen Switch. Golly, would I love to be able to play Breath of the Wild with like 60 FPS. I wonder if a PC version for Ghost of Tsushima would happen someday. Hey, tune into my second show about what Sony needs to do next year, and that'll be one of the talking points. If the Xbox deal goes through, says False Idol, how many more publishers are out there after? Oh, you mean like how consolidated it's become? I don't know. I don't know the exact count. Yeah, the next-gen Switch was canceled. It's heartbreaking. Ghost is coming to PC? Yeah. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in my second show for the day, the one about Sony. We got about 10 minutes left. We got about 10 minutes left on this show, so do me a favor. If you're over on the talk, keep clicking share, keep clicking like. Make sure you're following me over here so you can see the second show. You won't be able to see the members-only show. You'll need to come to YouTube and become a member if you want the behind-the-scenes lunch break where I hang out and do what today's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah, Thursday Throwdown. I'll check out some demos and some games with you guys while I eat my lunch. Make sure you come over. Smash the like button on this video on YouTube, by the way. We only need 23 more likes for a really good ratio. That helps the video find more people. And you guys have 10 minutes if you want to round this out to 100 and make me gift 5 more and take care of some of these people. Some of these people are here all the time and they're talking an awful lot. I'd love to see Shelly or Jason B or Phantom Phoenix. I'd love to see some of these people get some members. Let's call our shots here, right? We can gift until they get them. We've done that before. Phenomenal show. Thank you, Demon Eyes. If you guys, if the sub base of this channel really starts supporting opinion pieces like this, it could be very, very good for us. We would love to not be so married to the news, the gaming news cycle, man. Because gaming news cycle's up and down. It's always good to be able to just be like, hey, let's talk about Blue Protocol. Like, right? Like, opinion only. What does that game need to do with its content loop? A new Switch for Breath of the Wild? Oh, I think they'll release a new Switch for Breath of the Wild? No, it was canceled. Breath of the Wild 2 will play on the current Switch, which isn't surprising because it's being built with the same assets and engine of the previous game. Hilly Hijinks first year numbers 100% beating Fallout 4, but didn't beat Skyrim. I need to defend Bethesda. What does that remote with all the colored buttons do? Oh, this? There we go. It's for my lights. For my light. See? Welcome to the show. So many buttons. Yeah, a lot of buttons. A lot of buttons. You know, like an old person with their remote. They're like, which one turns on my soap operas? Just show me how to do that, David. Are you excited for the new God of War series on Amazon? Yeah, if they get the right people. I'm excited for the Ghost of Tsushima movie. You got to get the right people. I'm excited that Ghost of Tsushima is going to be in Japanese, as it should. And they should get Christopher Judge for God of War. If they don't, I'll be irritated. We get 16 more likes on the video. You guys are awesome. All you got to do is push that little thumbs up. We could spam some Lono dope emotes in the chat. That's something you get as a member. You get really cool emojis. My partner manager this morning, she was like, your emojis are so cute. I was like, thanks. I was like, thanks. You know, that's what I was going for. With Deadpool's hand cut off in the form of a thumbs up. Nintendo sold people cardboard and people bought it happily. Yeah. Nintendo could literally charge you money to stand in line to get slapped by Mario, and people would do it. What are all these people lined up for? We're going to let a guy dressed as Mario slap us, and he's going to say, it's me, Mario. Like, that's all. Yeah. Oh, how much? $25? Yeah, it's $25. Yeah, he's just going to slap us. Yep. No, we don't get anything. We don't get any merch. No, you can't cut in line. No, you can't cut in line. I tell you what they could do. They could really make a lot of money. People would pay money to stand in line to slap, Chris Pratt after he says it's me, Mario. Listen, that's mean. That's mean. I like Chris, but I do. But oh my gosh, what happened? Oh man, it's me, Mario. Just what'd you do, man? What happened there? Bethesda better. I see what you're doing now. It's actually $1 million idea. I'm putting Chris on the Lono hate list. No, I love him. I like him. I've liked him ever since Parks and Rec. I think he gets a lot of hate. Leave him alone. Leave that guy alone. It's not his fault they're putting him in every movie. It's like people hated on Nicolas Cage for that. What would be funny if Nintendo dropped another weird console like the Wii U that sells 13 million units? He's barely spoken any lines. Give him a chance. His Wahoo was good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Shelly. You can't win me over. You can't. It's me, Mario. I don't believe you. Yeah, I don't believe you. Yeah. Just look it up. There were tons of publishers and studios out there. Oh, there are tons out there. Not like your internet provider argument against the deal. So you think that my argumentation about tech consolidation with internet service providers and cell phones You think what I'm saying is that this consolidation will only give us a couple of options of publishers. If that's what you thought my argument was, then sure, that would be a terrible argument. That's kind of called straw manning. Like, you're taking my argument and repackaging it to look pretty weak. Wailing against a bad argument's pretty easy. That's not my point. That's not my point. My point is that the pattern of tech consolidation is that it doesn't go well for consumers. I didn't say tech consolidation leads to 2 or 3 options and that's bad for consumers. No. Tech consolidation results in degraded quality, higher prices. Why? Because they own more and they can. You're putting them in a position of power to control more of the market and to dictate things in a way that it doesn't have to be just a couple of publishers. The industry's been PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox for 20 plus years. Nothing has changed. What do you mean nothing has changed? In what way? You guys know Amy Hennig worked on Forspoken and Bear McCreary. I'm telling you, have faith on Mario and Frey. They'll be good. I have faith. We looked into that, Shelley. Amy Hennig was consulted for Forspoken. She did not work on it. She did not work on Forspoken. She was consulted. So people are like, oh, she helped with the writing. No, she didn't. She was consulted. The writing in that game is bad. Real bad. I played the demo. It's bad. Amy Hennig's name is not attached to that writing quality. She was consulted. Yeah, we looked into it because I had people telling me that. They're like, oh, it's just bad trailers, man. Amy Hennig, Amy Hennig. I'm like, listen, we all love Amy. She was consulted. She even tweeted her involvement. Yeah, I felt like she kind of tried to put some distance. She was basically said something to the effect of like she enjoyed consulting on it or whatever. We looked at it. It was like, I don't know. I felt like she was trying to create a little bit of distance. You know what I'm saying? Hey, another order of coffee came from Quintar. My man, Quintar, dude. Quintar's been going heavy. He went with a dark, a Frickmas, and a light. All 3. Quintar, you can save a little bit if you use the triple threat bundle. You chose not to do that. I appreciate that. That's very kind. She saw the trailer and she's like, whoa, I didn't do that. That ain't me. I think Forspoken's going to be good. I think a lot of people are jumping the gun on that game. I don't know how anyone is judging the writing from the demo. There are no storylines in the demo. Okay. Well, I played it, and I thought everything about it was extremely mediocre. So, if there's one thing I'm pretty good at, not that, babe. My wife just walked in the room. You're being bad. Hang on. The baby wanted waffles. My 7-year-old son. No. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I should come up and say hi. He's cute. Okay, that baby. He can have waffles. He's adorable. I thought you were talking about our my fork is sticky. I thought you were talking about our son. I was like, oh, he can eat dirt. All right, members only Thursday stream. He can eat some dirt. Members only Thursday. Throw down. No. All right, members only 12:30. Okay, if there's one thing I've been pretty good at, it's making judgment calls on games based on like a small amount of gameplay. I told y'all about Gotham. I'm trying to tell folks about Dead Space Remake. And I've been trying to tell folks about Forspoken. Trying to tell y'all. Mid. Gonna be a mediocre, unimpressive game. All right, I tell you what we need to do. I'm gonna set up redirect for the members stream. It's gonna be a members only Thursday throwdown. I'm going to eat my lunch, play some games. We'll be back with our second stream. It'll be about what Sony needs to do in 2023. Before I do that, I'm going to quickly go upstairs. If you're watching over on the talk, I'm going to end the stream. I don't know how to do that. There we go. I'm going to end the stream. I'll be back for the second show very, very soon. Thank you for over 4,000 likes. Thanks for all the followers. All right, there we go. We got 4,000 viewers, 4,000 likes, 23 viewers who commented. We got diamonds. I don't know how many followers we got from it, but that was fun. That was fun. We got followers. Okay. YouTube receipt, YouTube receipt, YouTube receipt. You're live on YouTube. Oh, all the emails. Okay. Okay, I'm going to quickly run upstairs. Well, no, I don't want this stream to hit 3 hours. We got to just go to the next stream, and I'll just open up that stream with a break. Give me one. I got to get this. Go there, go there. I'm going to give you guys a link to the members-only stream. There's a lot of new members today. I hope you guys come over and hang out with us. It's a really fun time. You get to just chill with me. It's a little bit of a different vibe because like I'm not trying to like actively do a show. Thursday throwdown. But on Thursdays, I sometimes check out games and demos and stuff so that you can sample them and see them. Okay? So there's a link in chat. That's where we're headed. If you're not a member, I hope I see you in the second show today. I'm going to ping Discord. And I will redirect you, right? Sometimes redirect doesn't work. So you can click that link in chat if you prefer to not ride redirect. All right. Give me 1 second. Catch you on the Sony chat. Curious what y'all say. I vote they need to communicate more. So much we'll see. See you, Lono. See you, Shelly. We need to get Shelly a membership. Here all the time. Or here regularly. Here we go. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. You might be one of the new members. We've hit a nice, huge, big milestone again, over 2,200 members. Make sure you're in the members-only Discord. We're wanting to see people engage with the members-only content, the daily breaks we take with lunch, those Friday night streams. We got big, cool things coming for you guys, and we want to make sure you don't miss them, especially people who are gifted, and you might not be accustomed to members-only content, okay? YouTube doesn't do the greatest job of putting that content in front of you, which is why you want to get in the Discord so you can see and get those pings and those announcements. I'm going to end the previous stream about what Xbox needs to do in 2023. Our next show, our next public show will be about what Sony needs to do in 2023.